we are live. Let me put these cards away. I did start this and then I just wasn't feeling the energy. And I just want to make sure the chats are coming up. So let me see. How do we write in the chat? So I don't want the chat to be filtered. No, I want them all on. Okay. Anything else that I have to do? Yeah, I'm hoping the chats will come up, but we shall see. Okay. So let me just get the energy in. I'm bringing the energy back. Yeah. That definitely has to be one of my favorite songs, Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake, because I just always find a way to just sing it no matter what I'm doing. It's kind of like that song Physical by Olivia Newton-John. Let's get physical. And then when I want to get spiritual, I always sing to myself, let's get spiritual. So let's do just that. Let me give my true crime deck a little bit of a shuffle, and you can all start putting in your questions as you join. So let's see what's going on. Which true crime case wants us to have a look at a dismemberment? Maybe someone who was separated from their family or someone who was dismembered. Let's see, let's get a gift. Okay, can I get one more? Whoa, and strangulation. So I wonder who this is. It could be one of the more recent cases. I'm thinking of Gus Lamont for some reason. Yeah, but with gift, it's like giving and taking energy. Yeah, life insurance. Yeah, because a lot of these cases we read on, there is a lot of familial connections. And although we don't like to accuse anyone in the family in these cases, oftentimes it seems to be the case. So it's kind of like, if it wasn't them, who was it? So yeah, let me just have a little minute and let the chat build up, and let's see. Maybe this is a bad time to go live. See, where I am, it's 8:30 in the evening, so it's kind of an okay time. It's chilled. But if we're thinking of the people in America, in Canada, are they 5 hours behind me? So that would make it about 3 o'clock. Yeah, so maybe it's just not a good time for people across the pond. But hey, I'm here. So if anyone has any questions, make sure to put them in. Okay. So, how do I see the chats? If whoever is in the chat, can you just say hello just so I know that I can see the messages? Because I had to restart this because nothing was coming up. So it would be really helpful. Just say hello. I won't bite. I just need to know if I can see what people are inputting, because I'm really not used to live streaming. And, you know, practice makes perfect. So if someone could say hello, I just want to see if I can see the chats and make sure we're good to go ahead. So yeah. I really didn't think it through. I'm like, what's going to suit everyone? I was just kind of thinking, well, it suits me now. Let's go. I'm ready to roll. And I wasn't thinking that most of my subscribers are over the pond. And this is probably a really bad time. People could be having dinner, having lunch, whatever. But hey, I'm sure there are still people in Ireland, in other countries, UK, that are free. So let me see hello in the chat so I can make sure that I can see everything. Oh, hello MJ. I'm just seeing this now. So I'm gonna have to move down the chat. So good to see you. How are you, Margaret? Hello, Kim. Hello. Oh, I'm so glad to see you because I was just sitting here for a while, a good few minutes, and I felt like someone who was stood up on a date. But it was just me and my bad planning. I'm so glad you are free at this time. Hello. So if you have any questions or if you just want to shoot the breeze, let me know what you want to do and we will get straight down to business. Where are Jack and Lily? Missing from Nova Scotia. Thank you, Kim. Let me just have a quick draw and let's get into it. Let's bring in the energy of Jack and Lily Sullivan and let's see where they are. We're gonna look at the cards in regards to location and we're gonna see if Jack and Lily can guide us to where they currently are. Please and thank you, Spirit. Jack and Lily Sullivan, missing from Nova Scotia. Whoa, the cards are flying out already. They do need to be found. It's just absolutely heartbreaking. 2 kids going missing. You know, you can say accident or whatever for just 1 kid, but 2? Nuh-uh. There's definitely foul play here, 100%. Where are Jack and Lily Sullivan? And then we will ask about Summer, little Summer. She breaks my heart. All of these children break my heart, and I hope they're all together where they are. So, balance in reverse. There is a lack of balance where they are. I feel like there's something upside down, and we always get this with Jack and Lily's case. And with the water and the land, it's like something has been inverted and they're stuck somewhere. It's an in-between. This could be in limbo, literally, but in terms of physical location, there's a pathway. There are lots of trees around them, but it's somewhere that wherever these children were put, whoever thought had the wherewithal to know that if I just put them somewhere public, they're going to be found. So this could be maybe water on someone's property. Whoa, this wants to come. We also have the 9 of Pentacles, a wish fulfillment. I do think there's an older lady who knows. We also have the wise counselor, the Hierophant. So this is commitment. This is contracts. So wish fulfillment, contracts, a lack of balance. There was a lack of balance in Jack and Lily's home life. And I do feel like they were sold to someone, maybe someone wealthy. And is there a crown here? It's making me think of the English connection to Canada. So I don't know how well the countries get on, but something royal. So they could be in a place where, you know, the royalty have power. I do feel like they were moved by boat somewhere, but there was a lack of balance. Something went wrong. And Malaya made a deal with the devil instead of a deal with God. So I'm actually thinking of that Kate Bush song, Running Up That Hill. There could be hills around the area that Jack and Lily are. We also have the Queen of Wands. So this is giving Mama knows, and there are people who are protecting the truth for their own benefit. Okay, so yeah, like a mine shaft, definitely, because we've gotten a lot of energy of inside caves. We've even gotten fox habitats, rabbit warrens or burrows. It's a sneaky place that they're hidden, but it's also peaceful. in a sense. So even if it's not sacred, it's peaceful. It's like somewhere the kids would like. So someone was trying to respect the children in a sense. And this is the Queen of Cups in reverse. This is Malaya just not doing her motherly duty. We've got the crown again. So something about the crown and the connection. So it could be London, Ontario. We've got that before. Maybe they could be somewhere there. So let's see. The crown land. Yes. Natives have lots of crown land. Yeah, Kim. And we've gotten sacred native land before. So we'll go back and we'll ask about that. But now we'll jump into Summer Wells. Actually, we'll keep this deck for Jack and Lily, and we'll go into seeing if they're on native land. Because I do feel like Malaya's people, her family, would protect her. But it's also such a crime to conceal two dead children. So I really don't think these people would, you know, willingly cover for Malaya unless she's lying to her people too. So there's that possibility. Although Malaya is no mastermind. So she's just kind of, yeah, I can't think of it, but yeah, sleepless nights. She's in a lot of pain, and that's why she doesn't want to show herself to the world. Okay, so let's bring in the energy of Summer Wells. Will Summer Moon Wells be found soon, and where? Okay, so MJ wants to know, will Summer Wells be found soon and where? These cards have numbers on them, so hopefully we can tell a little bit more with the numbers. Will Summer Wells be found soon? A lack of strength, weakness and doubt, repression, impotence. Yeah, so I do feel like someone is going to be exposed for their weaknesses and for being a child predator. But let's see. Will Summer Moon Utah Wells be found soon and where? We have the Eight of Swords in reverse. Freedom to choose. External limitation. So she's trapped in something. There's something surrounding her. It could be a barrel, and we always get that. Summer was hung upside down, and listen, I don't want to be putting horrible images in anyone's head, but I always get the images of the slaughterhouse, and it goes back into occult beliefs, sacrificing the innocent. But she was treated like a package, an animal. She's now restricted. They could have even blindfolded her. But it's making me think of corrupt law enforcement, corrupt judges. I do feel like there was a judge or something involved. The devil, yeah. So these are Satanists, demon worshippers, the Knight of Wands. This was whoever took Summer. They were sent to do someone's bidding. And it is making me think of Andy Bernard. I do think Andy Bernard could have brought Summer somewhere with his son, like father, like son. There's a reason Jodie Sue is trying to act as the gatekeeper. So this is giving that she is restricted, hidden somewhere, but there is some sort of tie between maybe the families, family land, but not too close to home, so they can have an ulterior explanation if she is found. They're never expecting her to be found, though. They feel like it's unlikely, it's weak. And they use Fred Hill as a scapegoat because they see him as a weak link and someone they can throw under the bus, so they can continue on in their devil worshipping and sacrificing. They will get away with it for as long as the law lets them. And Ronnie Lawson definitely has some sort of connections that instead of prosecuting the pedos, he protects the pedos. So I feel like maybe next year when Ronnie Lawson is out of office, I do think maybe there will be some movement on the Summer Wells case, but with a weak sheriff like him, a protector, or a protector of pedos instead of a protector of the innocent, it's unlikely she will be found. While he's in power, while the devil is ruling, it ain't gonna happen. Yeah, because he likes to do things his way or the highway. Four of Swords. This is being laid to rest. So there could be someone who will tell where Summer is laid to rest. It could be Fred Hill if he has any information. But I do feel like him and Ziggy have been talking so much about Andy, and people are only starting to listen now. So it could even be Andy that leads them to where Summer's resting place is, because I do feel like Andy Bernard was heavily involved in what happened to Summer Wells. And yeah, so it's telling me that she's somewhere close to either where Andy worked or where family members of his worked. And I know in Donna's readings, she said something about Eastman and or Eastman, however you pronounce it, one of Jody Sue's relatives works there, or one of Andy's relatives. So I'm not sure. Correct me if you know in the comments. But until Ronnie Lawson is out of power, I don't see movement in Summer's case. But there is someone, a guy, who could lead them to Summer's body because he knows exactly where it is. Maybe because he was there, but he doesn't want to implicate himself. So he's not going to talk unless he's backed up against the wall, per se. Okay. Oh, no worries, Margaret. I'm so glad to see you here. Eastman Power Plant, yes. So Donna was talking about that. The thing is, with her readings, it's like she couldn't zone in exactly where Summer was because they could have got worried and had to cover or something like that they moved her again. So it's just very chaotic energy. There's middlemen everywhere, drug dealers, but we're looking for who is the overlord. And Jody Sue thinks she can gatekeep things, but it's because of all these connections, familial connections. But Summer was treated horribly in her life and in her death. I can't say, even though I wish I could, that it was any better. I don't feel like she was ever given any human love or connection. She was basically just viewed as an object, a commodity to her family. And Don Wells is the devil, but he's not the devil that did this. He made a deal with the devil. Okay, so let's ask more about Jack and Lily in the native land. So is Micmac the right pronunciation for the tribe that their grandfather is in? Yes. So I do think Summer will be found. It's about finding that weak link that knows more, getting them to talk. They might have to make a plea deal that they might have to do some time for knowing something and keeping knowledge, perverting the course of justice. But they need to tell who is the bigwigs. Yeah, because someone is going to betray someone. As they say, there's no honor in thieves. So yeah. And this could be a younger guy who holds the key, the information. So whoever this guy is, it could be Andy's son, and he was sent away so he didn't spill the beans. So let's ask more about where Jack and Lily are located. Are Jack and Lily on native land? Are Jack and Lily on native land? Please and thank you. Wow. Because I asked in the spirit box I did, the last one for Jack and Lily, I said, are they on sacred ground? And it said no. So there's some sort of spiritual blockage. And I thought maybe it's because they were buried there and it's hard to tap into that protected energy. But with the Queen of Cups in reverse, this is Malaya's energy. So she's not being a mother, but she feels like that option has also been taken from her. Malaya made a deal with the devil and she got duped. We have the Page of Cups in reverse. And she felt like she was blindsided, but she should have known better. She seen past all the red flags, not only with Daniel, but this is a pattern she has with men. She puts too much trust in them, and then her kids are the one that ends up paying the price. So are Jack and Lily on native land, native grounds? Whoa, we've got the King of Cups in reverse. And we also have Strength in reverse. Weird. That also came for Summer Wells in this deck. There's similarities between the cases, but I don't think Jack and Lily were sacrificed in the same sense that Summer was. it was kind of like an afterthought, because maybe someone thought they could make money from Jack and Lily, but they weren't compliant, they weren't docile, and someone wasn't expecting them to be such a handful, is what I'm getting. Yeah, the Nine of Wands, protection, preparedness, resilience. Yeah, so this could be where they're buried. There's mountains in the background. We always get mountains with Jack and water with Lily. So there is mountains around, there's water around. The in-between, there's hills and there's flowers. And this is protected land. So if it's not native land, it's certainly protected. But it's like Lily and Jack's energy trying to break through this protective barrier in order to lead people to find them. Daniel always shows up as the lion, and he has from early on, but he doesn't feel courageous. He feels like a cowardly lion now. At first, he was trying to be the spokesperson for the kids and speak out for them, but everything backfired on him, and he looks even worse now. So he's cowering back into his den instead of coming out and facing the music. But it feels like Malaya put so much faith and trust in men that she would lead herself and her children straight into the lion's den again and again, because she's not learning these lessons. It's not getting through to her. Yeah. So when everything goes wrong, she has someone that can come to her rescue. I always say there's no rescue squad, but it's like for Malaya, there was a rescue squad. She thought someone else was going to help her with this movement of the children. Someone betrayed her, and then she ran to get protected by her family. And maybe she had the same intention for the kids, but someone else had different intentions, and it is her fault for not thinking about what's right for her kids. It's like she was in a hurry and didn't think everything through. Yeah. So let me see. Do we have anything else? Yeah. It's hard to fully put my finger on exactly where. Is there many mountains in London, Ontario? What river or water sources would connect Nova Scotia to London, for example? Because if there is some sort of boat or way of getting there, I feel like people need to look at the records and, the cameras along that way, because someone brought them somewhere in a car in order to transfer them somewhere else. And it's like something went wrong as this was all happening. And if something did happen to one of the children, or one of the children got silenced, it was going to have to happen because they came as a pair. It's like they were being advertised as a pair. And I'm not saying Malaya sold them. I'm saying that Malaya thought someone would help her and the kids would be in safe hands, but she literally handed her children over to the devil. She wasn't thinking logically, and her emotions were all over the place, and she really regrets it now, but she just still wants to hide away because the reality is horrible and painful. And I do hope and pray that Malaya will find it in her heart to lead the searchers or the RCMP to the children, because even if she doesn't know exactly, I'm getting shivers all up my legs, she knows who knows. And even if she can only give a limited amount of information, the information she can give would be invaluable when it comes to finding Lily and Jack. And I really do hope something comes of it. So let's see. Let's ask the true crime cards and get a bit more into the detail of Jack and Lily. Can we get some location information about Jack and Lily Sullivan, please and thank you? We have alive. Wouldn't that be absolutely amazing if they were alive and well and safe? So I'm really hoping that we've all been duped, because I don't care if I've been duped or I've been wrong. But look, assassination. So one child definitely died before the other. And the plan initially was to keep the other one alive and make money from at least one of them. Come on. This did not work out how we wanted. It was supposed to be 2 for the price of 1. Something happened. And I think it could have been Lily. Lily was screaming, being noisy, and they silenced her. And Jack was kept alive. And I've gotten actually before that he was kept alive up until July. So this is a few weeks after they've been taken or went missing. But for some reason they couldn't keep Jack around. I just feel like he was so traumatized. And I mean, how can people do this to children? I mean, if Malaya was aware that they were in unsafe hands, imagine where her mind was going. What's happening to my children? This is all my fault. I can't tell what I know because they're the reason they're in this position. Where are Jack and Lily? Whoa, egotism. Yeah, so they were brought somewhere by car, but there's a certain route. And Daniel was thrown in front of the bus. We always get that. Because I feel like Daniel last seen the children alive. Daniel didn't kill either of the kids. I'm not saying he wasn't violent or abusive or toxic, because he certainly was to Malaya. And they were definitely neglectful of the kids, but whether that neglect led to the kids getting into trouble and getting black eyes themselves, or this was actual violence perpetrated on the children, I don't know. But I don't think Daniel killed them. But I do think he's protecting someone and he does know more information. And why is he doing that? He's trying to protect someone from going to prison, a crime of passion. Yeah, so this is numerous bodies, and they didn't want to kill the children, but emotions got too heated, and one child was eliminated first. Where are Jack and Lily? Location information, please and thank you. Grandparent. So they could be close to the reserve that Malaya's father is on. We've also got dating. So Malaya put her trust in the wrong guy. She thought she was in love with the devil, and the devil duped Malaya, took her children, because the devil is actually after your children. Never forget that. These are predators trying to disguise themselves as helpful men to these struggling moms. Nuh-uh. Road. So I do always get that Matheson Road could be significant, and there was a neighbour that came out recently in the last day or two that said something about seeing a vehicle on the road, but there was a distinct route or road that they took in order to transport the children further. So this wasn't just a car journey, this was a car journey to someone else to bring them elsewhere. So they exchanged hands travel. Yeah, because they knew they wanted to bring them to somewhere they would not be found. And I do still feel like it's a foresty, woody area. So example, if they're saying, oh yeah, the children are lost in the woods, are they lying if they know the children are in the woods somewhere, but it's not necessarily the one beside their house? They've traveled, they're not there. You won't find the children's bodies or a sense of death or decomposition there because they were transferred, they were moved. And I know a lot of readers are saying that it was Daniel and his family and they brought the children here, there, and everywhere. But it's not what my cards tell me. The children did not die at that house. And they were moved somewhere else. And yeah, something about an accident. So one of the children could have had an accident and then they were only left with one child. I feel like someone wanted to silence Lily because she was loud and she was in trauma and she was trying to express herself. She was scared. But yeah, maybe this is telling us that, you know, the abuse things, it could have been an accident. They were definitely neglected. But I never seen Malaya as a violent brute. She's more passive than anything money. Someone wanted to make money off the kids by duping Malaya because, you know, yeah, look at this. Organized crime. Beach. Yeah. There's also another female that knows. It could be Malaya, but who is the bigwig? Because this is a trafficking ring and there are people involved. This could be the neighbor of Jack and Lily, and you know, they could be opportunists. But I always think the middleman could be Tint, or it could be some guy Malaya was seeing behind Daniel's back. Could that be the neighbor? Could that be Tint? Or is it someone maybe she didn't know very well or even know in person, and they said, hey, look, I can help you out of this situation. I'll pick up the kids and then you can follow me after. And she just put blind faith and trust into someone who was only out for the money. Yeah, they didn't really want to be her knight in shining armor. They wanted to kick her when she was down. And that's what a lot of predators do. They strike when they see you at your most vulnerable and your most weak. Yeah, I think the two cases are a lot alike. Yeah, they really are, Margaret, because it comes down to greed and perversion. And even if the mothers, aka Malaya and Candace, did not do the crime, they may not have to do the time, but they were enablers, and they seen that people didn't have their kids' best interests at heart, but they were more concerned about what suits them. You know, they wanted the money, they wanted the drugs, they wanted the comfort, so they weren't thinking about their children and their discomfort. And when everything hit the fan, basically, they think they can just resort to, oh, I'm helpless and I was manipulated and blah, blah, blah. They mightn't be the predators, but they're the enablers, and they can't just get away scot-free with the fact they did nothing. Even if they didn't hurt the children, they didn't stop the people who hurt them from hurting them. And they didn't expose these perversions that were going on around them. Hello, Michael. How are you? Hello, Alexa. Hi, hi, hi. How is everyone? So, any other questions or anything else you guys want to chat about? But look, let's keep the hope that Jack and Lily could still be alive. We're not going to write that off. And if they are, follow the money, because if they can be recovered alive, that would be the best for the case. And the energy could be protected so people don't realize that they're alive. There could be a grandparent even hiding them, and hopefully it's alive, but there is definitely a grandparent of them that knows more. And I'm thinking more so Malaya's family than Daniel's family. Okay, so let's see. Hello, everyone. Any other true crime questions from you guys? How is everything, Alexa? Did you enjoy your dinner? I got to go now. Bye, everyone. That's my daughter, Alexa. She's currently at her grandparents' house. So while Mama is free and while the mouse, or what is it? While the cat is away, the mouse will play. This is what Mama does when she's free. I'll only be 1 second. Just a quick bathroom break. Get your questions in and I will be right back. I'm so sorry about my squeaky stool. It's just the lowest thing I have because this is a very small table. Hello, everyone. I am back. Hello, Shatiria. What a beautiful name. Welcome, welcome to the live stream, everybody. So I am just going to relax for a moment and take a little drink and wait for the questions to come in. But yeah. So guys, what would you say is the case that really pulls you in the most? What case just pulls at your heartstrings every day that even if you know there's no updates, you still check to see just in case? Because to me, it just feels like there's more and more of these cases. And the likes of Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers, Jack and Lily, it's so painful to get involved in these cases and follow these cases knowing how badly done these children were, all of them. And the fact that the main caregivers are so evasive with the truth, it's so frustrating and it really hurts us on a physical level. The murder of Dan Markel in Florida. Okay, so yeah, totally, Margaret. There's something so heartbreaking about Summer's case, but it's absolutely vile the deeper you go. And I really think it all leads back to the deep, dark web. And there could actually be proof, evidence of Summer's murder on the dark web. So it would be great to have someone, you know, with this technology, even the FBI. I mean, they have all this shit to check it, but for some reason they won't. Okay, let's get into Dan Markel. I feel like I've heard that name before. Can you, Michael, just give me a little bit more context on Dan? What's his age? Since when has he been missing? And yeah, is there anything weird or strange around the case? Who was last seen with him? Because we start there and we work our way back. We're not saying that the last person to see missing people is the culprit, but usually they're the ones who can lead us to where they might be after they seen them. So yeah, and if the last person with a missing person story is sketchy, well, we're always gonna take a deeper look at that because that's very suspicious. You should want to be as helpful as you can. Michael, sorry, I didn't know you were covering missing young people. No, I cover all missing people. They don't have to be young. They can be as old as the trees or the hills. And it's actually great to dive back into cold cases because they didn't have all the technology back then. You know, people didn't even read cards on missing people back years ago. So this is a very modern thing. And I feel like everything should be used to try solve all cases. They're all just as important as each other. Yes, the missing children get more coverage, attention, but everyone needs to be found who is missing. And I truly believe that it should be everyone's priority to find missing people because it's just getting more and more common. So let me see. Let's ask about Dan. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get this deck and we'll see. Actually, do you know what? I might start with the true crime deck. Now, I'm not sure of any of the details around the case, but sometimes it's good to start blind. Let's get a few of these and then we will clarify with the tarot. So for Michael, the murder of Dan Markel. So do we know Dan was murdered or is this presumed? Was Dan's body found? And if so, how did he die? There's a secret though in regards to this case. So someone's keeping a secret of someone. So let's see. Dan Markel, the murder of Dan Markel in Florida. This wants to come healing. Okay, this could be his family healing. We've got a spouse and a partner. So there could be a spouse or a partner that knows more. I have leave. I will definitely tune it in again. Michael, we're reading on Dan, but I just want to know a little bit more if you have that information, just so I can take a deeper look in the future. So we've got a spouse, a partner, an accident, and healing. So did someone have an accident? Was someone healing from some sort of injury? And if he had a spouse or a partner, they know more, a caregiver. So was someone abusing someone else who was healing or injured? It's like a caregiver or someone who's supposed to care about you and love you, whether that be a parent, a sibling or a partner, someone didn't give Michael the care he needed. So let's see, but maybe it wasn't a murder if accident is coming up. Let's see, the devil. But let's see. Dan Markel. I'm not sure if you're still here, Michael, but let me know if you are. Because it's always good to learn about new missing cases. I know there's certain ones that kind of take all the attention, so it is nice to bring to awareness the lesser known cases. So Dan Markel in Florida. We have the King of Wands in reverse. Someone who's very cruel and ruthless. So someone wasn't nurturing or caring or loving. Can we clarify spouse, partner? Dan Markel. Ace of Wands. Is this, I knew I heard that. That's the Adelson case, isn't it? Because I haven't followed that case, but I knew the name. Yeah, so now that I realize what I'm reading for, yeah. The cards are on point. Instead of healing a relationship, someone wanted to stage an accident. The love was gone. And instead of turning someone on, it's like Dan turned his partner off. And she found a severe way of looking good in her mind, but actually causing the demise. So was he staged in an accident? I really don't know anything about the case. I just know his wife. I've seen a picture. She's very pretty. The world turned upside down. But yeah, honey, being pretty ain't gonna make you get away with murder. So I feel like she turned not only her life upside down, she took Dan's life, but very sneakily. There could have been like a family involvement, family or a father definitely had a hand in it. And they tried to make it look like an accident, but they failed. We've got the Magician in reverse. And now this spouse partner, Wendy, is that her, the blonde lady? Was her mother involved? But yeah, they feel powerless now because the cups have spilled on them. So this energy, this magic per se, instead of it working, it's backfired. And their plan didn't go as they'd hoped. Hello, Daryl. You know what, Daryl? You are just in time. You are not late at all. And Michael, if you're still here, I hope this answered your question, because there are certain cases that I just never get into, because by the time I see them, or, you know, by the time they go to trial, I haven't followed it from the beginning. So I'd feel like I was lost if I just started there. But the energy don't lie. And I do feel like Dan's lover is the reason he is not here anymore. Yeah. So thank you so much for that question. And I hope that he gets his justice in trial. And I hope his wife and her family who had a hand in it go away for life. Because not only did she take his life, she took, you know, a son from his parents, and if they had children together, a father for their children. She took all this thinking that she'd get away with it, and maybe she did at first, but I'm glad that it's all catching up with them, because these wicked ways, eventually they will catch up. Let me see. So, Daryl, have you got any true crime questions? It can be about any case. Have you been at the mountain recently? Have you been looking for Kenley? How's your foot been, by the way? Because I do get a good feeling about October for Kenley. I've been saying that for a while. I know we're nearly at the end of October now, but I do think there's going to be something that makes people feel invigorated again before the month ends. Yeah, and Halloween, it's making me think of Jason, Masks Off. Lise actually did comment on one of my recent Kenley readings, and she said, why don't you do a reading about the energy between Jason and Kenley, or just a reading on Jason? But I'm just trying to think, how would I do it? Would I ask about Jason, or would I ask about Aaron? Because Jason now identifies as Aaron. I want to respect that. And I don't want that to be an issue because this all happened after Kenley disappeared. But I'm wondering which is the best way to ask if Erin doesn't resonate with Jason. But Erin didn't know Kenley per se. So we have to ask about Jason because that's who Kenley knew, even though they won't admit to it. Whoa, so it's just so convoluted. But I do think it's worth having a deep look into Jason's energy because Jason is a very interesting character, and I actually had a visceral reaction when I was watching Kenley's documentary. After I'd done my first reading, I said, right, let me get into this so I can do another reading for the searchers, but I needed to know a bit more. The minute I saw Jason's picture, I think it was on the second last episode, it's like my heart just stopped, and it felt like Kenley was there with me saying, it's him, it's him. Just something made me stop about Jason's picture. And I always thought he actually did look a bit like Kenley. He did say that. Jason first. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then we'll see what results we get and if we need to dive in a bit deeper to look at Erin. Hello, Saoirse. How are you? Mwah. How was your drive, honey? Was Celine okay? I hope she wasn't complaining too much. On the drive home. So it's nice. I've got my friends from Canada dropping in, my family members. Alexa was here for a minute and then she dipped out. But that's okay because Alexa is 12 and I think she's still too young for true crime. She's not a fanatic like me. Not yet, but it will come the older she gets. I can imagine. So let me see. So yeah. What are all you guys up to tonight? What are you going to do to entertain yourselves? Daryl, I'd like to know if my murdered brother suffered after being killed. Oh my God, Daryl. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about your brother. I can't believe that. Oh, do you know who did it? And are they in prison now? Because if you need to look a bit deeper into it, well, we can do just that. We're going to ask the angel deck about Daryl's brother and if he suffered. Now, Daryl, I can't tell you what's going to come out in the cards, but we will see. I don't want to cause any upset or anything like that. Whoa, that wanted to fall. This is like the mother card. So I feel like your mother was very deeply affected by what happened to your brother. And maybe it felt like all her strength was gone after that. He was E.T. What? I think it must be a typo. But do you know who it was, Daryl? Because that would be awful to not know who murdered your sibling. Ugh. You'd want to kill them yourself, honestly. Did Daryl's brother suffer after being killed? Was there suffering? We have the Six of Swords. Daryl, this is very, very on the nose. Instead of relief and moving on quickly and swiftly, this is painful and dragged on. I'm so sorry. We have the Emperor in reverse. This is giving an egotistical man. I don't know who the murderer was, but this could be someone who was very sneaky, manipulative, criminal is what I'm getting. Five of Pentacles in reverse. But this is recovery. And Daryl, it's making me think of your physical recovery. And I feel like that saying, when God closes a door, he opens a window. And I do feel your brother is very strongly with you. But he definitely did not have the easiest death. But there is relief after hardship. So he had his relief. And I feel like you and your family are recovering from the grief. But let's be real, when it comes to grief, there's no real relief. Because no matter how much time passes, it doesn't mean that that wound will close in. We just learn how to live our lives with that abyss, and we learn to live in it. And it's hard to explain that to people who haven't experienced grief or loss, especially in a traumatic or sudden way. It's very hard to process and deal with. Never charged, wasn't read his rights. Yes and no. So are you saying there was a man involved? And no, there's no overcoming grief. But look, the Six of Cups, Daryl. This is an angel feather, and I do feel like he sends you signs, and I do feel like you're very spiritually connected. I think with a lot of men, they just assume, oh no, that's a womanly thing. But every time I read for you, Daryl, there's angels everywhere, and they all have your back. It's like there's this higher purpose, higher journey that you're supposed to be on, and they're leading the way. Look, the world. This is your angels still being with you. You're here and they're up there, but they're guiding you. They're watching over you. And I do feel like when you have a reason to celebrate, like finding Kenley, for example, you can not only give thanks to Kenley for guiding you and choosing you. I feel like this is your angels and your ancestors bringing you towards that accomplishment. And if you've ever felt like a failure, they're reminding you that you mean the world to them, and the people you still have left here on earth, you are the world to them. So never undersell yourself or underestimate your own importance, because they mightn't be here on the earth, but they're still right there, and family never dies, and your brother is with you. And you could be bringing flowers to his grave. I don't know if there's an anniversary coming up or if this is for Christmas, but I do feel like at the grave you will have a lot of time to ground and really listen to what the spirits have to say. Yeah, so Daryl, I feel like you're one of those people that sacred places like graveyards and stuff, they speak to you. I'm a graveyard fan myself. A lot of people get creeped out, but it just feels so sacred and nurturing. Okay, he was a monster abusing. Okay, let's read on this monster. Yeah, but he's caused a lot of sleepless nights for people. The fact people think they can just take other people's lives. I mean, you don't have to follow all the rules. I'm not the biggest rule follower of the Bible or whatever, but one thing we should never feel like we have the right to do is play God. No one has that power except God, and he will punish those who try to act in his behalf, even if they don't get caught or put into jail. Know that they have sleepless nights. It mightn't be guilt, but it's their demons, because they're just walking demons, parasites. These people take, consume, and kill because they can't create. And I hope every predator and abuser gets caught, because I feel very strongly about it. And they keep on breaking families. Some of them are even in the families, which makes it worse. Hurt me when I was 8. I'm so sorry, Daryl. This is self-created boundaries, external limitations, and a new perspective. This is you taking a new perspective on the afterlife. And you're nobody's victim. You are a survivor. And the thing is, even if your brother isn't here, he has moved on, he has transitioned, he is up in heaven with your other ancestors. You're still here. Don't live restricted. If you have something to say or something to do, please do it, because it's been coming up a lot in my pick of cards that there's someone who needs to speak the truth about someone who abused them, and it's going to set you free. This could be you, Daryl. I know you don't watch all the pick a card videos, but it keeps on coming up. It's a repetitive message. So there are a few people who watch me who need that message. You're no one's victim. You're a survivor. And don't be afraid to speak your truth. Even if it shakes the tree or family excommunicates you, fuck them. Because families that don't believe you and enable the abusers, well, they're no family of mine. I'm hearing Hound Dog, Elvis. Did someone love Elvis, Daryl? You ain't no friend of mine. Yeah, so you ain't nothing but a hound dog. Yeah, the high priestess. This is secret spiritual knowledge. And this is change. So did someone know you were being abused, Daryl, and someone did nothing about it? Was there enablers in your family? I'm so sorry. And there was plenty of enablers in my family too. And a lot of my family members were abused. And no one did anything about it, but everyone was aware of it. And these people are just as bad as the abusers. I don't care. They really are. The Eight of Cups, walking away. So you made your own decision. You walked your own way. The mountains in the background are very interesting. You're being guided to find Kenley, Daryl. You're going to be a part of the celebration, because I feel like you're all going to have to be together to find him. It's not a one-man job. And even though you've walked away, or maybe like in a sense took a break, you're coming back to something or rechecking a place you've checked before. I'm okay, I'm over. Yes, my aunt loved Elvis. This could be your aunt coming through. Was she very psychic too? And yeah, so I'm glad you're over it, Daryl, but sometimes those scars can hurt us now and again. The lover is a choice. Was a lover enabling someone? But yeah, you made your own choice to go your own way and break the chain. So I'm hearing Go Your Own Way by Fleetwood Mac and Break the Chain, or The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. This is being defensive. There's no competition here because there's no winners when it comes to pain and death and murder. But the victory can be celebrated. It's just about dropping your guards and allowing the energy to flow and speak through you. So I feel like you're a channel of energy, Daryl, and I feel like men block that a lot because they think, oh no, it's only the women who are psychic. It's definitely not. She passed away from cancer. I never told anyone until I arrived in Nova Scotia. I told my mom on the phone. She didn't believe me. Well, I feel like your mom knew more and there was secret knowledge, because that's what the High Priestess represents. And I know a lot of my female family members, you know, grandparents, aunts, they seen things and they didn't say anything. And these people will pay, even if they didn't do anything. Like I said about the mothers, Candace Bly, Malaya Brooks, these people will pay because they did not protect their children from the predators. Some of them brought the predators into the children's life, actually, which is worse. Okay. Wow, but I'm so sorry, Daryl, that you went through such hardship. But this is what makes the wisest people. And the High Priestess didn't get her knowledge from, you know, just licking it off a spoon. She had to learn the hard way. And now there's some things she keeps to herself because not everybody understands the deeper knowledge. And she's very spiritual. And I do feel like you are a psychic, Daryl, and you just need to tap into it a bit more. You have to believe in yourself. You've had people not believe in you your whole life, and now it's time you make the choice to believe in you. Know that you are being supported by the angels, and you don't have anything to fear, because once you overcome the fear, nothing can hurt you again. And these predators rely on our fear to feed off. So by not giving them that, I feel like that's the best way of draining their energy, is not giving your energy to them. And yeah, if you do bring them up, it's to, you know, expose them. They need to be exposed. Hello, Margaret. How are you? How is everyone doing tonight? I hope I'm not droning on too much. You know, I haven't even gotten the emotion or the tea cards out. So if anyone wants any tea on someone or a case, or wants to know the emotions around, let me know. Because I thought I'd try keep the cards at a minimum so they're not everywhere. But listen, there's a time and a place for all of the cards. Yeah. So let me see. Daryl, I feel like I want to get you a message of advice. What is Daryl's current advice right now? What is Daryl's current advice? Because I know you've got a lot of pain there, and You try act like you're unbreakable, but you can't be afraid to reach out for support. And I'm so glad that we're friends. We might be on the other side of the world, but you've got my support. And if you have other people's back, they'll have your back right back. Because loyalty is something we choose and decide. And even if our family members aren't loyal to us, we can choose our own family, no matter where they are. We have the porcupine spirit, time for a beginner's mind. I think you need to start small with some psychic activities. I can give you a few pointers. I can send them on to you if need be. Groundhog spirit, time to let go. You're not a victim and you are a survivor. What do groundhogs do, Daryl? They dig. So the more you dig, the more you will find what you're looking for. Start small, believe in your own gifts, because if you don't believe in yourself, who else will? So you're like a squirrel trying to crack that nut. It's making me think of Ice Age. Do you guys remember that squirrel with the nut, and he was trying absolutely everything to get that nut or to hide it or whatever it was? And it's just disaster after disaster. I don't know if he ever gets that nut. He could at the end. But you know, it's entertaining. He is a man with a plan, or a squirrel with a plan, but life keeps on, you know, messing it up for him, but it doesn't stop him from trying. So you get knocked down, Daryl, you get back up again. You keep on digging like a groundhog. It might feel like every day is repeating itself, but this is what consistency looks like. Okay. I will see you if Canada becomes a 51st state. I'll need a place to live. LOL. Daryl, I'm in Ireland. I'm not in America. And I'm all the way across the pond. So I think you'd have to spend a couple of grand if you were coming over to say hello to me. Because, yeah, I remember my friend was visiting her daughters over in Canada, and the price and the time on the plane, I think it's like 12 hours, just sounds not very appealing. But I would love to visit Canada because I just feel a spiritual connection to Canada and America, Tennessee in particular. I actually wrote a song before called Take Me to Tennessee. This was a few years ago. And I just feel like it's a place I've been in my soul, but I've never actually been physically. So Canada and Tennessee, I'm coming for you. Nova Scotia in particular. So they're my two places I can't wait to visit, and I really hope that I can visit one day because I have plenty of friends now over the pond, so I'll have lots of people to visit. And yeah, it's nice to just have these thoughts and goals for the future, because even if we're not in that position now, we will get there. Hopefully the finances will get better and improve, and then we can go wherever we want in the world. I don't want to be here under Trump. I leave America altogether. Yeah, I'm not a Trump fan. Now, I don't do politics. Politics is just not something I resonate with at all. But if I was to have to make a decision, or if I lived over in America, I think a few years ago I would have said I would have resonated more with, you know, Republican, only because I live in the Republic of Ireland. So we've dealt with repression and things being taken from us. But I think I would be more of a liberal because I believe everyone should have a right to be themselves. And I don't believe in the traditional shit that Republicans push. And it's the patriarchy. And I don't think we need the patriarchy anymore. So I am certainly not a fan of Trump, and I do think politics and organized religion, all of it is a big cult. And yeah, a lot of times we've got a lot of psyops with it. Now, I might lose subscribers or whatever for saying it, but I just totally avoided the Charlie Kirk thing because I thought it was just a total psyop. I really did. And I seen so many people giving it energy, feeding into it. And I just said, look, I don't want to be a part of that energy harvest. Of course, if he truly did die, my condolences to him and his family. But I mean, it just seems like another psyop to me. He could be alive somewhere. And if that's the case, well, the world was fooled and they got their energy. But for what? Is it for Trump? It probably is, because there's always an ulterior motives when it comes to this tragedy. So even if he did really get assassinated, but I mean, I don't know. Even the footage looked fake to me. There's definitely more than what meets the eye, and it's never the way that they tell us it is, unfortunately. Okay, I might put my candle in the frame. Yeah, we got the wild jasmine up in here. So, any other questions, my dearies? Because I've got all night. Well, at least until my battery level goes down a good bit. So let me get a drink. So are any of you guys fans of the Mary Jane? It's not legal over here. It doesn't mean that like people don't do it or whatever, but it's just not as easy to access. And I definitely think I would take advantage of the access if I was living over across the pond. Anything on Andy in Summer's case? Thank you for asking, Margaret. Have you been doing your own deep dives? You should really check out Dee's true crime commentary. If Dee is watching this or watching the replay, hello Dee. I've been following Dee for years, and I feel like she's truly on the ball now with Andy Bernard, his family, his connections. And there's some big names being brought up, and we know since the very beginning with Summer's case that there are higher up people. And I used to wonder, well, I mean, how would there be a Freemason connection with Summer if Dawn wasn't a Freemason, you know? Because I figured, well, this deal was Candace and Dawn. No, because Andy is the middleman. He's heavily involved. I'm going to get some true crime things. Let's get the sus on Andy. I'm going to get the tea on Andy Bernard, because to me, he is the most suspicious neighbor. And I know a lot of people diss and dump on Fred Hill, but I never got a bad vibe off Fred. He just seemed like, you know, sweet, but a bit simple. And I do hope that him and Ziggy have a nice life together, because I really don't think they're bad people. I think they're trying to help, but in a sense it backfires. Female caregiver. Okay. So Andy's mother is coming up straight away. Andy's mother, she's a real estate realtor, apparently. So look at her real estate. Whoa, male. Andy's father, Andy's son, like father, like son, grandfather, son, and grandson. So this is a whole family business. They could all be in the trafficking and not just drugs, you know what I mean? Okay, Andy Bernard. What do we need to know about Andy Bernard in the case of Summer Moon Utah Wells? We've got a tunnel, underground tunnel. He's got connections. Yeah, there could actually be tunnels where they traffic, transport kids underground. The underbelly is what I'm hearing. So the word underbelly, yeah, serial killer. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So Andy Bernard. Whoa. And that happened to Summer on her own. We also have spouse partner. So Jody Sue Brown knows more about these trafficking things. And I feel like Andy could know about more than just what happened to Summer, because if this is sacrifice, you have to keep on feeding the beast, and he could actually be involved in other cases. And what I've been trying to do along with Kylie, if any of you follow Kylie's spirit box sessions, her name is Kylie's Nail Candy on YouTube, if you want to check it out. She does a lot of spirit sessions, and she's been saying for at least over a year that Summer and Sebastian's cases are connected, because there is at least one character or two characters who have some sort of a connection, an underground connection. So the Freemason is Andy and his connections, not Don, because they wouldn't let someone like Don in the Freemasons. He would just absolutely embarrass all of them with his behavior. He's too obvious. Andy is more sneaky, and his father could be a member or, you know, a grand mason. So maybe Andy's father is one of the guys that Donna and Sloan Bella seen in their readings. Both of them said there's, you know, 3 men specifically. But Dee has also picked up that it could be Andy and his connections. And they've got connections to baseball players. We've got jealousy. Yeah. So Andy Bernard is a cheater, and he knows about more than just Summer's case, because when it comes to trafficking children, he knows that not all of these children are still alive. He's still complicit. Chris name. The Chris name keeps coming up. Yeah. And I mean, I've been thinking, is it Chris Proudfoot? So I think Chris Proudfoot and Andy Bernard know each other. Let's see. Let me ask the tarot if Andy and Chris know each other, because if we can confirm that's the connection, then we can dive deeper into that connection. Of course, it's not going to be easy to find, but if we dig deep enough, we will find the connections, because they're both in the Freemasons. They could be in the same brotherhood. They're in the same state. And Andy mentioned a trash truck, and a trash truck has been brought up with Sebastian Rogers' case. And I know a lot of people don't believe it was a trash truck. It was a light thing. Hello, Kylie. I was just shouting out your channel, so I must have summoned you, girl. Hello. You came at just the right time, because Margaret has just asked about the tea on Andy Bernard. And what we're going to do is ask if Andy and Chris are, I was going to say related. Everyone's related in that area. But if they know each other, we've got the moon. This is lies, deception, and illusions. Okay. I think so. LOL. So let's see. The tea on Marsha and Marcel's case. Okay, we'll get to them when we are finished with this connection between Summer's case and Sebastian. So let's specifically ask about Andy Bernard and Christopher Proudfoot. Do they know each other? Are they both in the same Mason Lodge? And yeah, I do feel like there's something about a vehicle that connects them. Yeah. And I do feel like Chris Proudfoot could know more information about Summer Wells's case, same way as Sebastian's case. Yeah. Two of Cups. Yeah. They both share cups at the same lodge. So yeah, I think it could be the Freemasons that connects these two parties. Two of Cups. You know, interestingly enough, the Two of Cups is the lover card. So Chris's lover, Katie, is involved with Sebastian's case. And Andy's lover, or ex-lover, Jodie Sue, is involved. Queen of Swords, yeah. Because these women aren't afraid to tell it like it is. I know Katie comes off as meek, but behind the scenes, she can be just as vindictive as Chris. Yeah, because it takes one to know one, and they're one and the same. They're nasty people. So is Jodie Sue and Andy. Do Chris Proudfoot and Andy Bernard know each other? Please and thank you. Do we have all these cards that want to come? The Knight of Cups. Yeah, a love offer. This can be, or an offer. Trafficking. The Lovers in reverse. Wrong choice. Yeah. Avoidance of choice or overcommitment. Yeah. Seven of Swords. Because you know why? They're both liars and thieves. Sneaky. And they do have a connection. They know each other. Yeah, the Ace of Wands in reverse. This is a false start. Yeah, delays, misunderstanding, cancellation. So I'm thinking of the Andy it's done text. There could have been delays with the vehicles, the transport, and I do feel like they both have involvement with trafficking and the Freemasons, and it goes back to Summer and Sebastian's case. So even if the two cases aren't connected in that sense, there is two characters, one from each case, that are connected, that connects the two. And Summer and Sebastian's energy, they kind of act as a support for each other. They help each other be brave enough to speak the truth about the abuse they endured, not only physically, but both of them were being sexually abused, in my opinion. And this was by men in their lives that were supposed to protect them, okay? So is Sebastian and his truth going to be known soon? And will those responsible, face justice. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm missing a bit of the chat. Let me just give myself a moment. We're gonna definitely look more into the Chris and the Andy connection, that is for sure. Okay, so where were we? Let me just catch up real quick on the chat, the Chris name. Yeah, because Chris just keeps on coming up in the spirit box. And I know people probably think I'm picking on Chris Proudfoot because I don't like him. But listen, spirit keeps implicating him more and more. Okay, so let's see. See. I will get the tea then on that case for you. I think so. Yeah, I think he's in a... I nearly read that as he's in a dress. Can you ask if Robin Lane is related to Bullhorn Betty? Great question. Oh, okay. I'm mixing up everyone here. Okay. He comes out all the time for me also. Who does Chris Proudfoot when you're reading on Summer's case? Yeah, it's like me and Kylie have some sort of a connection to Chris Proudfoot and his energy because we can read him like a book. He must think we're super fans, Kylie. I'm sure that's why he tells himself, oh, you know what? My haters are just lovers in disguise, because he just thinks he is the best thing since sliced bread. He's a legend in his own mind, but only his mind. Chris Little P. If any of you remember the tea on Chris Proudfoot, we have a whole video dedicated to that. And literally the micro penis card came out. So there's that, allegedly. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Let's ask Katie. But is that why he's so bossy? Because not only does he have short man syndrome, he he overcompensates in a lot of departments, and he's furious about it. I feel he is. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's see if we will get justice and closure on Sebastian Rogers' case. And let us see. I really hope we do, because weirdly enough, Sebastian's case is one that I started following later. He's not as missing for as long as Summer has been, but something about Sebastian just, oh, it kills me inside. And I wish I could have taken Sebastian. If they didn't want him, I would have taken him. His little soul, his little voice. I cry every time I hear his voice. And, you know, I've heard little clips of Summer's voice, but it seems like they didn't want to give Summer a voice in the first place because she was abused since birth, allegedly, in my opinion. And that's why they didn't teach her to talk. Okay, so let's see. Sebastian Rogers. Will Sebastian Rogers get his justice, and will those responsible be held accountable? Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like this could be Katie's energy or Kathy Bowersock's energy. Let's see. Will those be held accountable? We have the Nine of Wands in reverse. Frustrated, defensive, anxious. And we've got the delay again. So there was some sort of a delay, maybe with some sort of vehicle or truck, because even if the lights video was a trash truck, like all these Proudfoot supporters are trying to say, maybe this trash truck is exactly what implicates Chris Proudfoot, not only in what happened to Sebastian, but in what happened to Summer as well, because Andy B drove a trash truck. So kind and truthful. Yeah, I do feel like the truth will come out, but I feel like there is still a lot of people trying to protect the truth, and this is assertiveness, resentment, but they're uncertain behind the scenes because they know they did wrong. And Chris wouldn't be so defensive unless he had something to be defensive about. The Six of Pentacles in reverse, pride of riches. Yeah, unfairness, injustice, power dynamics. So I feel like they have protection from law enforcement, and I feel like right now he is still being protected. They're not feeding the public the truth. They're just throwing crumbs to the public. Let them eat cake kind of a thing. Yeah, but this is the Hermit. This is wisdom sought. So I do feel like the truth will come out regarding Sebastian, but it might take a woman breaking a woman's heart, because these men are hardened. It feels like they don't have any hearts. Let me double check with this tarot deck, and then we will see we will ask about the cases that Margaret has mentioned, because I do have them written down. I will do full readings on them, but we can just dip into the energy a little bit first. Let me just see about Sebastian's justice. Let me move these to the side. Will Sebastian Rogers get his justice, please and thank you? And who will bring that justice? Yeah, renewal. This is a judgment call from the angels. So God was watching these predators and the truth will be revealed. Yeah, there will be a rebirth when it comes to this case. The 5 of Wands in reverse. Someone's guards are coming down. Conflict is being overcome. But right now there's a protective wall. The Proudfoots are protected by law enforcement, by the Freemasons, by the Bowersox family, the Proudfoots, whatever. The 9 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, but look, protective in reverse. I do feel like in the future, these protective measures will come down and the truth will be revealed. So it's coming, but right now they're still being protected because it's not only Chris that would be implicated. And there's also numerous cases that could be connected to this underground trafficking ring that involves the Freemasons. Yeah, but there's something that they didn't organize. And I always get that their sloppiness or their ego is going to be their downfall in terms of Sebastian and his case. They were overconfident and they didn't realize that they slipped up, and this could cost them their freedom, and so it should, because the day I see cuffs on Chris Proudfoot is a day that I will remember, and he is not a friend of mine, probably not a fan of mine if you've seen my videos, but hey, I am onto him, and so is Kylie. So let me see what Kylie's been saying. Oh yeah, we're going to ask about Bullhorn, Betty, and Robin. Ooh, that is tea. And inadequate in ways, in plenty of ways. And maybe that's why poor Katie looks so miserable, because she's like, oh, everything that I've sacrificed for this, is this it? But, you know, she had many years to leave his ass, and now it's like they're tied together by the devil. I think it's a fake trash truck. Also, the real truck's mechanical arm. Yeah, that's so weird. What a day. How was your day, Kylie? What did you get up to? He comes out all the time for me also. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to get to MJ King's question, and then we can dive a little bit deeper if need be. Okay, so Margaret wants the tea. Let me bring in the energy of Marcia LeBlanc. I know you told me how to pronounce it, but Spirit knows that I'm just Irish and I don't know how to pronounce beautiful French names. Marcia LeBlanc. Can we bring in the energy? And is Marcia alive or dead? And were the remains really hers? Yeah, because that really intrigued me when I read the details in your comment. So there was remains found, but it wasn't actually her. Were they trying to pass off someone else's remains as her? And the suspect died or something? Okay, so let's see. Let's get the tea on Marcia Cormier's death. Or, sorry, did I say that wrong? Marcia LeBlanc. I'm mixing up the two. So, Marcia LeBlanc. Can I get the tea on Marcia LeBlanc's death? Apologies if I am mispronouncing her name. We have careless, something to do with a car, and an impersonator. Was someone pretending to be someone else? But I only want to get the cards that fall out. Something about a car, though. It was part of a cover-up or a plan. Karmic friends. So did one of Marcia's friends trick her? She couldn't trust them. Someone held a grudge against her and was in secret competition with her. We also have drama starter. So there could have been a friend that actually was somehow involved, even if this was the energy before she went missing. There was some sort of drama she was dealing with, and someone was holding a grudge and maybe wanted to have some sort of revenge on Marcia. It could have been over a relationship or something like that. We've got an offer, so it's like a dirty offer. And Marsha could have been told to go somewhere, meet someone somewhere, but it wasn't what it seems, or this person wasn't what they seem. So it could have been a friend. Whoa, but this is like a wolf in a sheep's clothing. So let's see. Yeah, so wearing a sheep suit. Let me see, let me get the... Yeah, so something was organized. Yeah, and something about a man hiding his face. So was this suspect part of some sort of weird organization or something like that? Let me see. But there was some sort of dirty offer and someone was holding something against Marsha. So let's see. Marsha. Were these remains Marsha's, and will we ever find Marsha's remains? So were these remains found? Were they Marsha LeBlanc's remains? We have alive. Whoa. Now this did come out for Jack and Lily. And the energy around that case can be quite strange because some people want people to think Jack and Lily are alive, you know, so no one can be blamed per se for what happened. Marsha could be alive. Let's hope she is. Let's see. Whoa, one wants to fall. Ah, and it fell on my lap. Okay, Spirit, I get you. We have hidden. So something is hidden. It could be hidden that she's alive. Dismemberment, though, missing. And landfill. I don't know, because these are kind of contradicting each other. She is missing and there is hidden context. She could have been hidden in a landfill or like disposed of, dismembered and disposed of. But maybe that's what someone wanted others to think with this body, but it was like a test dummy or something like that. Did they find a body or get one from a grave? I don't know. But I really hope that Marsha could be alive. Let's ask the tarot about that. And we'll just get one card to represent, yeah, a motel or a hotel. Was there a meetup, Margaret? My apologies. I don't know anything about the case. And even someone at the start of the live stream was asking about a case. I was like, I recognize that name, but I don't recognize the case. And basically the cards were like, yep, there you go. And the cards was actually what made me realize, oh, now I know. Now I know. Okay, so let's see. Is Marsha LeBlanc alive? One card, please. Whoa, and thank you. We have the King of Pentacles. That's the Sugar Daddy card. This is the Two of Swords, so something not seen, a difficult decision. And the King of Cups. So masculine energy. Yeah. So there could be a masculine protecting her. And this is something about providing and realistic. Wow. So I'm not fully sure, but it's kind of giving that she could be alive, but being protected by someone, a powerful man. Or this could be the suspect knowing powerful men who, you know, kept his secret. He could have taken this secret to the grave. But with this coming, I really don't know. It's definitely a possibility. We will ask about Marcel. Can you give me a little bit more clarity on Marcel's case? Is the suspect responsible? Was that for Marcel's case? Let me see. My father-in-law's 80th birthday last night. Oh, wow. How did you get on? Thank you for answering my question. My heart goes out to Sebastian. CP is infuriating. It makes my heart sad that Sebastian had to live like that. Oh, my God. Danielle, even just thinking of what Sebastian was going through absolutely makes me want to strangle CP, because he should not have gotten with Katie if he didn't like children, if he didn't like her son, if he thought autistic children are too difficult. Why are you getting involved with someone with a son? It's like he made everything a competition, even when it comes to Sebastian. He was supposed to be the father, the nurturing role. I know there was Seth, but when Seth wasn't there, you know, CP was supposed to be the step-in father, per se. I mean, that's where you get step from. But even the word parents, it's like a pair of people who rent you. We're only here for a limited time. And I feel like Sebastian got a bum deal when it comes to having Katie as a mother. I think Seth is a great father, and I don't have anything bad to say about Seth other than he trusts the wrong people who are more out for themselves rather than Sebastian. But if he had the right people around him, I do feel like it would help him unlock more. But it's like he doesn't want to. He can't handle the truth, and I get that a lot, that the reality of what was happening to Sebastian is haunting him, and the more he knows, he's kind of going on the less I know the better, because he's still missing. And if he's dead, I don't want to hear about the details. I just want to know where he is, and we have to respect that he doesn't want the gory details, and it's not nice. Even what happened to Sebastian, from what my cards and spirit sessions are telling me, it's not nice. And it wasn't easy or quick or painless. These people loved mocking Sebastian, and it was like sort of a humiliation ritual. So Summer was a sacrifice, but it's like Sebastian was a humiliation ritual, and it fucking sickens me. Sorry for my French, but there's something about Sebastian's case that keeps me up at night. It really does. Like, I feel like Sebastian feels like the son I never had or something. And, you know, I'm one and done. I'm not going to have more children. But I do feel like fostering in the future could be something I'd like to do, especially if there's children out there like Summer and Sebastian who just need love. All Sebastian wanted was a friend. And, you know, his stepdad couldn't even be his friend. And that's what makes me hate Chris so much. How dare you treat a beautiful child like this? How dare you humiliate Sebastian? The world has adopted Sebastian. It's like he's a spirit son to a lot of us. And we'll never forget about him, and we'll never stop worrying about him until we know what happened. And he appreciates that because his own mother didn't worry about him in that way. And if she did, we wouldn't be here in this situation. So it's Chris's fault, but it goes back to Katie for allowing a brew into their lives, like Christopher Proudfoot. Yeah. That's why I love the song so much, because it just basically calls out everything that he is, and there's no lies there. There's truly no. So let me see. The suspect disappeared shortly after Marcel's body was found. Marcel and Marcia were out for a drive. His body was found in or near his truck. The story was that the suspect was a hunter who may have been involved in drugs. Marcel and Marcia were out in the woods in Marcia's truck. They believe that they saw a drug deal or something. Okay, so Marcel's body was found and Marcia was never found. And then there was a body that someone hoped would pass off as Marcia's, but that's not the truth. Okay, let's see. Very interesting story. Wow. So if she's alive, I hope. So the case is connected. Wow. Hi, Kylie. Hello. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing a deeper dive into Andy and Chris. Kylie, maybe you could ask your spirit box and I could listen back. I could help you caption if you like. But there's definitely something deeper there, and we're going to be doing spirit boxes about it. We're going to be doing tarot readings about it, because Dee, Kylie, and everyone who has been screaming this from the rooftops, it's like people are only finally listening, and it goes deeper than anyone would like to admit. And then we bring in Sebastian Rogers, and this shit is still going on, and children are still suffering because these brutes are in power and the law enforcement is corrupt. They protect the predators and they absolutely desert the missing children they're supposed to be looking for, and it's sickening. It really is. But that's why we stick with these cases, because, you know, if we give up, well then it feels like no one's looking for them, because the police certainly aren't. Okay, so let's get a little bit more as to Marcia and Marcel. Okay, so Marcel. This was October 1994. Wow, okay, so that means this is 31 years later. Am I correct with my calculations? Okay, so Marcia and Marcel, The cases are connected. They were dating. Marcel's body was found. Was it the suspect? What happened? We'll ask the true crime cards what happened, actually, and then we'll get the why. Okay. So what happened that night in October 1994 with Marcia and Marcel? What did they see or witness, or what happened that night to make them both disappear? Whoa. And they came straight away. Lies, mind control. So something about someone lying to them. Yeah, it's like an impersonator or a liar. Yeah, I feel like someone could have kept Marcia alive and she's under some sort of mind control, literally. As strange and far out as that seems, the beach. And I don't know where Marcel's body was found, but let's see. Travel. Yeah. So they definitely seen something being exchanged, something happening. The magician makes things disappear, but this is a lying magician. We also have family. So there could be some sort of familial connection or something like that. Karmic friends, karmic family members. And yeah, it's like Marcel was seen as a liability, but someone wanted to control Marcia. Let me see. His body was near or in his truck in the woods. Okay, so yeah, traveling to the woods. Did they go to the woods? Or were they just found there, I wonder? Okay. Hello, Meme Jean. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Kelly. Can you ask if Sebastian is near Cypress Grove Nature Park? Yes, I can. Indeed. We'll do that next. So let's see. Marcia. Why did Marcia and Marcel disappear? Whoa, and that popped out. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. So this could be Marcia not being the same as she used to be, because someone has brainwashed her in a sense. The Queen of Swords in reverse. It's like she lost her spark, her shine. Someone maybe wanted her to be complacent and sedated, kind of like a robot. The 10 of Wands in reverse. So this is dropping heavy loads. And we also have the 8 of Cups. So going back somewhere, going back. Yeah, so this could be someone who was in their past and someone could have came back to do something or came back to deal with the body after the fact is what I'm getting. 3 of Cups. So friends, we got karmic friends when asking about Marcia. So there was a friend who wasn't a real friend and they could have been duped or brainwashed, but there was some reason that they had to be separated. And I mean, I feel like if they killed Marcia, they would have just left her there with his body. And they thought that actually, no, we can, do something else. Yeah, so I don't know. I hope if she's alive and trapped somewhere, she finds a way to ask for help. She could be in some sort of a cult. It was someone in a cult, especially if the suspect is gone. What's stopping her from coming through? It's hard to get a solid answer. Is Marcia still alive? Please and thank you. Whoa. We have awakening. This is sleeping. The Ace of Cups. This is an emotional relationship offer. The 3 of Cups flew out again. Yeah, a lack of sacrifice. Friends. And a love offer. I feel like someone wanted to keep her around to make them love her. Yeah, we've also got a party. This could be friends they partied with. Their love was kind of in the way of someone having their way or wicked way. With Marcia, 10 of Cups. Yeah, something about a family. So a family member, a caregiver, or a friend of some sort. What a very weird case. I'm actually looking forward to having a deeper dive when it comes to this case. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I'm unsure. The truck was in or near the woods. People thought they were parked there talking or making out. Yeah, kind of like a dogging spot. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's like maybe there was people hiding or creeping in the bushes. Like creepers in the bushes is what I'm picturing in my mind. So was someone spying or watching or getting off on watching people dogging because they didn't have love and they hated other people's love, so they wanted to steal someone's love? Like a thief in the night, a magician who lies. That's not real magic. Something is fake about this person. So they were either a fake friend or a fake family member. They could have been you know, very drugged up or on drunk on alcohol, whatever, on some sort of substance. Party drugs is what I'm hearing. Okay. Marsh was only 14 when this happened, and Marcel only 17. Oh, that's absolutely heartbreaking. Only babies not having a chance to live. Yeah, so there was definitely a predator, a perv, a creep in the bushes who wanted to keep her for their own sick reasons. They wanted to brainwash her. So maybe if they ended up having kids or something with her or selling her to someone else, she could be still brainwashed and not even know how to go back to her old life. Maybe they wanted her to forget who she was. And she could have been so traumatized. I feel like she would have witnessed what happened to her boyfriend, Marcel. So the best way to brainwash people is traumatize them first. And someone could know this because they're a well-seasoned predator. Yeah. They know how to creep. They've been doing it a long time. Okay. So the name of the suspect is Roger LeBlanc. No known relationship to Marcia. You know what's interesting? Family keeps coming out. So even if there's no known relation, it could be worth having a deeper look into it. Now, I know a lot of people have the same surnames, but that's quite a coincidence. And maybe it made it easier for him to keep her or bring her somewhere, traffic, if that was possible. Because they have the same surname, so they could pass off as relatives, especially, you know, if he had to get her some sort of paperwork. She can't use her own birth certificate or whatever, but because they have the same name, it could appear that they're married or something, even if they're not, if that makes sense. Okay, Andy, definitely. I've always thought she was alive someplace, either with the suspect or someone else. Yeah, well, you're very psychic, Margaret. Have you asked your own cards? And can you let me know what they've given you? Because that's very interesting. If she's alive, it could be worth kind of putting her name out there again, because she could be on the internet, and if she's forgotten who she is or she doesn't resonate with who she used to be, it's like she needs to be reminded that it's okay, you're safe now, especially if the suspect is dead and gone. She can be free, because I'm really feeling like she is alive. I think you're right, because I mean, we can't just take every word that comes out from the true crime deck, but when alive comes out when I'm asking about a case, it really does make me think that either the suspect was kept alive for a period of time, not the suspect, the victim was kept alive for a period of time at least, or they're still alive, and it's about digging a bit deeper to see which way it applies, because it has come many times for Jack and Lily, and I do feel like Lily was assassinated first because she was an inconvenience, and Jack was more quiet, laid back, and they thought he'd be easier to have or make money with, but I don't want to think about it. Poor Jack and Lily. And I hope if Jack is still alive somewhere, please get Jack home. He's such a little sweetheart. I want to cry just thinking of their little school pictures. Spell work keeps Summer hidden. Yeah, these people are witches, warlocks, Satanists, and people think spell work doesn't work. Now, I don't do spells myself, but that's the thing. If people really believe that what they're doing is going to work, it will. Belief and energy is the main, you know, driving force of magic. You have to have the intention, and it can be good intentions or bad intentions. And my stomach rumbled as I said that. So it's true. These people are hungry like the wolf. I'm thinking of that fucking name again, Joel Wolf. So we need to look more into him. Richard Bishop, I know Janine Chrissy has been speaking of them for a while. She has also implicated Proudfoot, weirdly enough. So the both cases are connected and many people know about it. The female knowing it could actually be Janine Chrissy, because Dee has noticed, you know, property in Florida. And this could be a house where Satanists go and do their rituals. But I do think it was theatrical. So I always figured maybe it was in the theater. Excuse me. But it was either a theater, the Lamplight Theater, or in this house. And it was set up with all the get up because they do this shit here. This is known. And if, oh my God, did Chris and Katie used to live in Florida? Is that another connection? So Kylie, do you know if Chris and Katie and Sebastian used to live in Florida? Is she Kelly P? Is that Melissa? Sebastian's aunt is a head witch and a numerologist. It does not surprise me, because if her brother and her stepfather, Terry Bowersox, is in the Masons and Chris is too, it's only natural that the mysticism would you know, be intriguing to the whole family. It's a family affair. And that family has a lot of dirty secrets and dirty deeds to a house where dirty things are done. And the numerology is very interesting in that house that Dee connected to Andy Bernard, because there was like 333 in it. They used 333, 666, all these things to show their allegiance to Satan, the Freemasons. When you're a 33rd degree Mason, that's when you kind of get the hidden or the secret knowledge. And we kind of know or have an idea of what this secret knowledge is, but basically this is when they initiate you and say, listen, we get our power by sacrificing innocent souls. So either you're with us or you're not. And if you are, come on, your first task awaits. And yeah, I feel like that is how Chris and Andy know each other. I really do. Let me read the chat for 1 minute. Let me see. La la la. Okay. I haven't had the chance yet to ask. I plan to do that soon. I feel like her parents need answers. Yeah, they really do. And you have to go with what your gut feeling is. You are very psychic, like I said, Margaret. And if the cards are kind of confirming these thoughts, we need to dig deeper into the suspect and who he was involved with, his friends, because now she could be with one of his friends or associates, criminally that is, and still be afraid of her life to reveal herself. But she could want more than anything to go back home, but maybe she just went from, you know, the frying pan into the fire in a sense. So things are still being kept hidden. So everything you said, 100% agree with. If there's anything that Sebastian or any other child should know, it's not that they were unlovable. It's that those people are incapable of love. And Danielle, I'm getting shivers all up my legs, and I feel like Sebastian and Summer know how loved they are, but it took them going to the other side to realize that the world loves them, and it was the people they were living with that weren't loving or protecting them. They were the problem, not Sebastian, but they projected it all onto Sebastian. And I know it's horrible, but I often get that Chris was SAing Sebastian, allegedly, in my opinion, what my cards and spirit box say, and what Kylie's spirit box has said for the longest time. But I feel like if Sebastian was somehow acting out, they blamed it on him. But if anything, he was just repeating behavior that was being done to him. He was SA'd, according to Seth, when he was 7. He was so young, and they did not protect him then. So if they said, you know, it's okay, let's cover it up, blah, 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 we can't you know, upset Chris's family. So let's just forget about it. They didn't get Sebastian counseling, anything. He could have acted out in so many ways because he was struggling, he was traumatized. And sometimes the abused can become the abusers if, you know, they just keep on getting abused and their behavior isn't corrected. I'm not saying that Sebastian did anything, but it's like if Chris was doing things to Sebastian, he wanted to make it look like Sebastian was the bad one because he didn't want to be exposed to the world that he's the predator. And anything they can do to make Sebastian look bad, they will. And I think that's what angers me the most is how Katie and Chris speak about Sebastian. It makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. They didn't deserve that angel. And I hope Sebastian is at peace where he is, but I feel like these spirits are kind of in limbo until they're found. They can't rest in peace until they're found because they were disposed of like waste, and that is not how God wants his children to be remembered. So it's bringing me back to this trash truck thing. What is this card? The moon. Yeah, so there's something mysterious about the trash truck. So let me see, let me get to the comments. Oh dear, that's where the leg was found. Also, I do think it was Sebastian's leg. Oh my God. You can Google her. She's written books. Kelly Proudfoot. Oh, I've never heard of Kelly. Thank you for letting us know, Kelly. Sometimes it takes a Kelly to catch a Kelly. Or no, it takes one to know one kind of a thing. And that's what I'm thinking as well with Andy and Chris Proudfoot, because yeah, they all run in the same circles, and it takes a predator to know a predator, and I think those men are predators. So yeah, so there's Kelly as well. Maybe Kelly is doing spells. Let me read these comments because I want to know what this is about the leg. So let me see. Spell work. Oh yeah, let me see. Mike Proudfoot's brother, Robert's wife, CP's uncle. Ooh, because it is a family affair. Who is Danny Guy related to? Is he Chris's cousin, or is he somehow related to the Bowersox Proudfoot? It's 2222 where I am, so yeah, a spirit message from our little angels that we are reading on, that we will put all the pieces together. It will all fall into place. We're just missing a few vital pieces right now. Do you know where they live? Springfield, Tennessee. Okay. Oh, so there was a leg that was found in Tennessee. Wow, got to go. Thank you so much for being here, Meme Jean. I really appreciate you. Mwah. And I will see you again very soon, sweetheart. Have a good weekend. Oh, you're such a sweetie, Margaret. Kelly, you're welcome. I did a lot of family research in the beginning. Yes, Chris's cousin. Okay, so will we ask about the remains found, or should we ask about Chris's family a little bit more? Because his family, it's full of secrets. Just like what Damien said about Regina's hair in Mean Girls. You look at Chris and his family and you know they're all full of dark secrets. And they're definitely into the occult. I think Katie is into the occult too, so maybe she gets tips or pointers from Chris's family, possibly. So yeah, witchcraft can be used for good purposes to expose the truth in a sense, but it can also be used to cover the truth. So it's literally a war, a spiritual warfare of good against evil, black magic versus white magic, good witches versus bad witches. And these men, they're warlocks, like David Dotson, Chris Proudfoot, Andy Bernard. If they're in the Freemasons, they have these capes. They play dress up. They're literally LARPers, and they need to take innocent souls to make it the real thing. Play pretend isn't good enough. They might have a practice run, but once they feed the beast, they can't stop feeding the beast, and it makes them all fucking beasts. Yeah, I'm thinking of bestiality. So some of these people could be sick that they're into bestiality. And are we surprised if they will hurt children of course they're going to hurt animals. And people who are going to be abusers, they usually start with the animals too. And it's making me think of even Don throwing Summer's kitten to the dogs. I can't believe he would do that. That's the cruelest thing I've ever heard. Forcing your young child to watch as their beloved kitten gets devoured by vicious dogs. And then it's making me think of Chris and Katie getting rid of Sebastian's cats, Sebastian's snakes. They took everything pure and innocent about these children, and I, for one, will not rest on these cases until it's exposed. These people are sick, and I've no respect for any of them, any of the parents, other than Seth. And I do feel like Seth needs to stop being afraid of the truth. It's a hard thing to realize, but he needs to know what he's dealing with the Proudfoot family. They are cruel, they're witches, they're warlocks, they've got connections. The Ellie is literally corrupted in their favor. So Seth is going to have no chance unless he opens his eyes to this black magic he's facing. And it might mean he has to trust other people. Like, I remember Donna even saying with her readings, she didn't post or publicize early on. And even then when she did, she omitted the harsh details because Seth could not handle the truth. Even when he had a session with her, he didn't want her to talk about what happened because she mentioned that they murdered Sebastian and he couldn't handle it. And I mean, imagine being told that by, you know, a renowned psychic, and you'll find any reason not to believe them. Of course, he wants him to be alive. Sebastian, apparently, according to Chris and Katie, he will just walk right back through that door. Wouldn't you just love that? They want people to think he'll walk back in the door because he walked out that door. And that could not be further than the truth, because even before Sebastian was given to Chris's family, he was injured. And I feel like Katie could have injured him. She told him, "You're going here." And they had a fight. She had to restrain him. And I know with autistic children, sometimes you do have to restrain them. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You have to do what you have to do to calm them down if they're stemming, whatever. But she hurt him. She injured his arm or his leg. I feel like it was more so his arm, whether something was out of a socket or disjointed. It's like she was trying to push his hands back or down, and she broke his arm. And I always just feel that. So she was complicit in that sense because she knew he was going, whether he liked it or not, whether it was by force or by choice. She wanted him to walk out that door willingly, and that would make it true. But she knows he's not walking back. But you can't say that they're totally telling a lie if he was actually back at that house. I know a lot of people are questioning whether he got back. So that footage was very suspicious, especially because we haven't seen it, and I don't trust the FBI. I don't know about you guys, but if I haven't seen the footage of Sebastian taking out the trash, I don't know if it was him or not, because I can't trust them. I can't trust any of the law enforcement in this case. They're all corrupt, and it shows how deep the Freemasons run, because they run the FBI. We think they're so powerful and they'll solve anything. No, sometimes they come in to stop a case from being solved, and I think that's the FBI's purpose right now. Anyone who harms a child or an animal are capable of anything. Sadly, nothing would surprise me. Very true. If they can hurt the most innocent and vulnerable, there's nothing and no lows that they won't stoop to. They just get worse, and the only way they stop is when they are forcibly stopped and put away. And that's why it makes me happy to hear these prison stories when these culprits finally go and get locked up like the animals they are, when there's some prison justice. I heard a while ago that Adam Montgomery was getting some prison justice with a plunger, and it made my heart very happy. So I am hoping that this fate awaits these predators, these abusers. So Chris's cousin, Danny Guy. So Danny is Chris's cousin. Is Danny Guy related to I mean, is Kelly, the auntie, Danny's mother? Because that would make sense as he is directly involved. I think he saw Sebastian on Sebastian's last day. The leg was that old guy Benton. It was confirmed. Oh, Chris's family. I think they are helping to keep the truth hidden. They certainly are. You're right on that, Margaret. And let me see, did I miss any questions? Are you still here, Kylie? Have you any other questions? I really do want to do a deeper dive into CP's family for sure. And I also want to look more into what is connecting the two cases. I want to channel Summer and Sebastian maybe together, and maybe they could speak for each other, or, you know, we can pull a few cards each for their own case and then what they want to say about the other case, and we might find some connections that way. But Danny Guy definitely helped Chris and his father or stepfather. I think it's his stepfather, Terry Bowersox. Confirmation. Okay, so Terry Bowersox is the stepfather of Chris. I wonder what happened to Chris's real father. Is he still in the picture? Or does Chris have daddy issues and mommy issues? Because he's got all kinds of issues. Maybe he even has one of those Oedipus complexes like Norman Bates, or what's his name, Ed Gein. I haven't watched the Netflix series yet. People have said it's weird, but you know me, I love anything weird and wonderful and anything true crime related. So I will watch it. But apparently his mother was just an absolute nightmare. So maybe Kathy is a nightmare. Maybe it all goes back to Kathy just being a terrible mother and raising predators like Chris, because they enabled predators. They didn't punish or get justice for Sebastian when he got abused by Chris's family members. That is sick and that's disgusting. And unfortunately, it's all too common that families defend the predator and they isolate the victim. I've seen it happen so many times in my own family, in other people's families. And even if these victims, it was during their childhood, I still see the effects when they're adults. These scars don't go away. And I really do think predators should be castrated and publicly humiliated. And listen, a girl can dream, but if they did that to CP publicly, listen, I think we'd all be celebrating. It would be a day of smiles all around. Yeah, I mean, they want to humiliate Sebastian. Let's see how you like it, Chris. Let's see that little CP as it gets castrated. Oh, God. Can you tell how infuriated that case makes me? And it's nothing to do with Sebastian. He has the sweetest energy ever. But the people around him were devils who did not deserve this angel. And Summer even looked like a little angel. But it just took one look at Summer's photos to know she was abused. And she was abused her whole life. Summer didn't know what it was like to not be abused. They never gave her a chance to be innocent. And I do hope both of these cases are solved. And with Jack and Lily, it's kind of feeling like it's turning into another Summer Wells, another Sebastian Rogers case, that it's all smoke and mirrors and media circus. And the parents, you know, like Daniel's loving the attention, Malaya's avoiding the attention. It's kind of like Katie and Chris, that Chris loves all the attention, but it backfires on him. And then Katie tries to keep quiet on the download, same way Malaya does. But hey, I think no matter what they do, we all know that they all know more, and they're either protecting people they know or each other, or they're just not willing to give their children closure, justice, peace of mind, because it's going to implicate them. They're all involved, even if it's just being an enabler. So Malaya was some sort of an enabler, and she just brought her kids to a toxic environment. Even if Daniel isn't the devil, she went from bad to worse and from one devil to another. So the devil she made a deal with wasn't Daniel. He was actually more of a devil than Daniel was. And Malaya just wonders, how the hell do I keep getting here? But it's because she keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. And she's codependent on men. This could be due to abuse in her childhood, because I do feel like she was also a victim of abuse. So was Katie. And unfortunately, like we said in our last Sebastian Rogers video in regards to Nina, the cycles of abuse continue, and the predators keep on abusing as long as they're allowed to, until someone steps in and puts a stop to it. And if it's not going to be the law enforcement, it seems like it's going to have to be YouTube or the psychics that keep on about these people until eventually, finally, people listen. These are worse, and this goes deeper than we ever thought. Yeah, that's Mike Proudfoot. Danny Guy is Kathy's brother's son. Okay, so Kathy's brother also has knowledge. I mean, the list just keeps on getting bigger. All of Chris's family is implicated. So there is a reason they have a vested interest to hate Sebastian. So I feel like Chris could have lied that Sebastian did something or abused Faith, and they all had a reason to plan this and to cover up for what happened to Sebastian, because in their mind, he deserved it. And these people, I truly hope and pray they get what they deserve, because I really think even if Sebastian did unintentionally hurt Faith or someone, it's because no one protected him. So he just assumed it was all right because it's allowed to be done to me. Maybe Chris could have been doing it constantly, and like Sebastian was trapped in the lion's den in just a snake nest, or what is it, a cesspit full of snakes is where he was, and the snakes are the Proudfoots, the Bowersocks, and I'll scream it from the rooftops. One of my loved ones talked to their sister about their abuse, and their sister said, "Why weren't you screaming it from the rooftops?" That's how these people, these families deal with it. And it sickens me. So I know that it happens. It's not a stretch. But they all had a reason to be in on it and implicate themselves. Because Chris is the master of lies and manipulation. Okay, so do we have any other questions? I might maybe give this another 20 minutes and hit the road, Jack, and get my ass to bed. I actually have to do more cleaning, so I was like, no, I just want to go on YouTube and do some reading and chat to everyone. I don't want to do my housework. But hey, it still has to be done, right? My battery is actually going down. But listen, I'm glad it, like this 130 minutes nearly, it just flew by. That's what happens when you read tarot, when you're connecting with energy, because all the energies somehow combine, connect, interact with each other. It's beautiful because there's no limits on the spirit realm. And I like to think these spirit children, these spirits in limbo on the other side, are all together, and they all want to see each other's case being solved. Can you ask about Cypress Grove Nature Center for Sebastian? Yes, I can indeed. Let's get down to business. So, what is this called? Cypress Grove Nature Center. Is this close to any of the properties of the Proudfoots, the Bowersoxes? Because I feel like he is on one of their protected or private properties, but also that they wouldn't have him right there. He could be in and around the area that they own, but they don't own, just out of the periphery or something. But they still kept it close to home, but I feel like they own so much land. So we've got water, Cypress Grove Nature Center. We've got water, we've got intuition, So yeah, your intuition is correct, Kelly. That's what my cards are telling you. Sebastian is either in the water or close to a water source. So nature, Cypress Grove Nature Center. Cypress Grove Nature Center. Sebastian Rogers, child. There's Sebastian. But it could also be that this whole case is centered around a child. So if it's not Sebastian, it's because of Faith. And I do think Melissa's children, or Chris has other sisters. One of the sisters' children witnessed something that happened with Sebastian, and they could have all hated him over something that happened with Faith, or they could have said, oh, he was lying about being abused, and they could have had a vendetta against Sebastian for years. Greed. Okay. We're going to get the tarot and the tea on this Cypress Grove Nature Center, a gift. Okay. So maybe Sebastian was told, oh, you're going to go somewhere, you're going to get something. And it was a trick. It was a trap, because they brought him straight to the lion's den, from one predator's playground to another. I feel like the men in Chris's family are predators, and this is my opinion, allegedly. But whoa, the tea on that. That wants to come. What is it? An offer. Yeah. So maybe there was an offer made to someone, or a deal. All these want to come. What is the tea on Cypress Grove Nature Center? Sebastian Rogers, can you please tell us the tea on Cypress Grove Nature Center? So are you around that area, or was Sebastian taken to this place? We have jackpot. On the money. Your intuition is on the money. Is that where Sebastian is right now? Marrying for money? A gold digger? They might think Katie is a gold digger. Let's see. Cyberbully. There's Chris Proudfoot. Literally, look. Don't tell me that doesn't look like Chris Proudfoot. There's him creeping, doing weird, shady things online and in person. Kind of like a hood, a headset. I can see Chris Proudfoot with, you know, a Freemason cloak on. I'd say he likes to think of himself as a master mason, because he's a legend in his own mind. Yeah, so cyberbully. Were one of the Proudfoots bullying Sebastian online? Was Chris pretending to be someone else, or a catfish, just to humiliate and bully Sebastian? That just makes me feel sick. My stomach flipped when I thought of that. Looking you up, researching you, studying you, getting info. Boss daddy. So if Terry Bowersox is connected to that place, I do think it's significant. The father of CP, the bully and the gold digger. Yeah. So the father with money. This could be Terry Bowersox's property, or he could have made an offer with someone. But there is something significant about that area. Let me see. I'm also still curious if Travis Decker actually killed his daughters or not. His remains were found so close to where his daughters' bodies were found. That's weird. I remember when I seen that news, it was kind of just glossed over. Oh yeah, he's been found. It wasn't confirmed, first of all, and then maybe a day or two later it was. But it totally flew under the radar, and it just doesn't seem likely that he didn't get further than that. Yeah, I know he had military training, etc., but I think we picked up some sort of mind control and like devil worship in Travis's reading. I think I did too, possibly for Travis. But it could be like some sort of a sacrifice. It's like, I thought maybe it was Travis sacrificing his daughters and maybe sacrificing himself, which it seems that's what happened. But there's something weird. It seems like he was put there, or his body was staged, because he was moving. Our cards told us he was, you know, going from place to place. He was trying to make plans. But yeah, just seeing the alien card here, it's like a conspiracy about how Travis was found. Yeah, it's like he just came from outer space and was put there conveniently. So let's see. Travis Decker and his daughters. Did Travis Decker really kill his 3 daughters? And then we'll get the tea on Travis's death. Let's see. Perversion. Someone could have been watching and creeping. Okay, let's see. Travis Decker. Did Travis Decker really kill his daughters? Strangulation and road. Wow. So I think the daughters were strangled or asphyxiated with plastic bags. And then he was on the road. He was moving. Did someone see Travis do that? Was someone watching this happen? And they followed Travis? A meeting. It's giving a police meeting. It's kind of like, what do we do? What do we do? They could have found Travis unexpectedly. I remember in my reading, I think, what was it that I picked up? He is moving, but he will kill himself if he's backed into a corner. So then when I heard that he was found and there was no struggle, he was already dead, he'd committed suicide, etc., allegedly, I thought that was weird. It's like there's something they're not telling us. There's something they're omitting. So yeah, he's dead. That's his remains there. But what are we missing? So let's see. Did Travis really kill his daughters? We have alive. He was alive though. Outer space. Yeah. Into the others. A secret. Yeah. A secret meeting by the police or the FBI. Celebrity. I don't know what the celebrity card means. It could be someone with, you know, political interest. Is that cop? Because I know people were commenting on how hot he was. Is that cop trying to reach a celebrity level? And they wanted the story to be perfect, but it's like the ending was not perfect. So they had to rewrite the ending somehow. Legal proceedings. So it's like Travis losing custody could have pushed him to do something. But I do feel like there was kind of someone who had it out for Travis. I really do. Maybe they felt like Travis done them dirty. Let me see. We're going to ask the tarot, though, about... No, we're going to ask the tea as to Travis's death. What was going on with Travis's death? What's the truth about Travis Decker's death? Is it as it was claimed to be? Or are they gaslighting us? You know, the FBI or the police, they're allowed to lie. Well, that wants to come. Bad habits, drugs, addictions, toxicities. This could be someone who Travis did drugs with. Let me move over here. So yeah, he could have had a druggie buddy that followed him or was watching him. Or maybe he still wanted a score or his fix. Yeah, so did he get his fix off someone or get it somewhere? And either they were watching Travis or they were indulging in something. But let's see. I feel like Travis could have been on drugs when he did what he did to his daughters. Because it's like it's not the real him. It was a demon that took over his body for him to do such a horrific and cruel and heartless thing. We still want to keep this in the frame. Okay, so what's the tea on Travis Decker's death? Please and thank you. Bad karma. Yeah. So he got his comeuppance, that's for sure. Child services. Yeah. With the legal proceedings here, it's giving that, yes, we understand the motive of why he did what he did. But I feel like maybe the authorities did something illegal and maybe there could have been, I don't know, something weird about when they did find him. Was Travis alive when they found him and then he killed himself because he was backed into a corner? This was his karma for playing God, and, you know, it was their right to take his life if he was a danger to society. He was on the FBI's most wanted list, but the FBI lies. in their head. Yeah. So it's like he was thinking and deciding what to do. He was strategizing his next move. Yeah. Same shit, different day. Because he was surviving. And it's like, what made him want to stop surviving? Something about social media. He could have had a burner phone that was hidden. And someone could have tracked or found him on social media. Or this drug person, just this drug dealer or drug friend. Love triangle. Yeah. Because he could have had a woman or someone on the side. I remember we got that there was a woman who maybe wanted to help him or something like that. Let me just get some true emotions. What else do we need to know about Travis Decker before we go? Bad news. He was bad news, that's for sure. Losing sleep. So he wasn't sleeping. It's like when reality kicked in and the drugs wore off, he realized, oh my God, I've backed myself into a corner. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think he didn't do what he did, but I do feel like his motive was to hurt the mother of his child because he felt like the authorities were against him, ghosted, on and off, hot and cold, detached. So he could have had a secret lover, but he was going ghost for a while, and it's like he was going to make some sort of reappearance or something. Pregnancy, fake news, DNA. So, yeah, fake news. There's something they're omitting. Even if they're not lying to us, they're not telling us everything about the Travis Decker case. They have a reason to keep it hidden, maybe because they weren't fully by the book, because they felt like it's justice. He deserves it, which we won't say he didn't deserve it, but it would still have been nice for them to bring him in alive if they found him alive. So this could be hidden. They're saying they found him dead, but I don't necessarily think that's true. A firestorm, there could have been a standoff. Praying, faith, healing. Yeah. And I do feel like Travis did regret playing God, and he could have been pleading with God to forgive him. He wanted to get good with God, but he was worried, bumping heads. So an argument with the girl's mother. Anything else on Travis Decker? Secret accounts. So yeah, there's secret things they're hiding from us. And I do think he was in contact, in touch with people. He was on the move. It wasn't just that he killed them and went and killed himself. That's a lie. He was planning on staying alive and staying hidden until maybe the reality of everything caught up with him. But it's like he was still hiding, and they did find him. But he could have been alive and just in a very, crazy state, like a crazy man who's been away from society, my way, selfish, stubborn, arrogant, pride and ego. So I do feel like he could have been having arguments with drug dealers. He could have been getting involved with other people's relationships. So there could have been other people out, but Travis was running. And maybe someone was following Travis because, sometimes the hills have eyes, and yeah, someone could have been a bit obsessed with Travis. So yeah, I don't think it was as clear cut as they made it seem. Yeah, maybe justice and karma did come through in the end, but there was some sort of shady dealings when it comes to the end. Norman Bates. Hello, I Scorpio. Hello, my fellow Scorpio. Welcome to the crew. I love you. Scorpios are the coolest. Not everyone gets us, but that's okay. Sometimes it takes one to know one. I was saying earlier in the live that Lise, the member of the Finding Kenley group, did suggest in my latest Kenley reading that I should do a reading on Jason, the suspect that we think murdered Kenley. And interestingly enough, what I know of Jason is he is a Scorpio. And, even now, Aaron, honey, you're still a Scorpio. You can't escape the Scorpioness. And sometimes it takes a Scorpio to read a Scorpio. And I connected with Jason's energy straight away. I got a visceral reaction the minute I saw it. So I do feel like there's a lot of deep hidden things. Us Scorpios are mysterious, deep, dark creatures, and hopefully, you know, me understanding that mindset will really help me dive a bit deeper into the alleged suspect's mindset, just to see what we can find. Because, yeah, sometimes it takes one to know one. Even a Norman Bates. I feel like Norman Bates was a Scorpio. So I don't know. If Norman Bates was based on Ed Gein, or Ed Gein, however you pronounce it, I wonder what his star sign was. I love serial killer star signs. So if anyone knows any of the serial killer star signs, let me know, because it's very interesting to contrast and compare. I wonder what Jeffrey Dahmer was. I think he would have been, I won't say my favorite serial killer, but always one of the ones I found most fascinating. But I think even with Jeffrey Dahmer's case, there's a cover-up, a conspiracy, and it's kind of like fake news. Same with the Travis Decker case. They did tell us some of the things they did, but they made them out to be different or more monstrous than they really were. So, yeah, I mean, I do feel like Travis did something wrong, but the FBI did something wrong in order to catch him, or they could have tricked him with social media or taken whoever's device that was contacting Travis and found him that way. Because I don't feel like he was going to give up without a fight. He thought, well, it's done now and it's all worn off. I can't deal with the reality. I know I'm not going to be alive for long, but until they catch me, I'm going to keep running. I don't feel like he would have just stopped himself. He had to be stopped, in my opinion. So let me see. The fact they kind of glossed over it makes me really suspicious. Yeah, me too, Margaret. I was just thinking, wait, what? How come this isn't big news? So if they made it big news, it would mean people would speculate and go over every little detail. So they just wanted to take the credit, the glory, and go. And rest in peace, kids. He's dead now. Yay. Give us a pat on the back. We're done. Moving on. No, what is going on? What's the deeper layer that we don't know about? Because they're allowed to lie, and we see with the Sebastian Rogers case that they lie all of the time. They really do. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to fully just dump on Travis because it seems like he had some sort of attachment or an entity that took over his soul, and it could have started with the drugs, the bad habits, and he just made worse and worse decisions. He lost custody of his kids because he wasn't making his life stable. It was just going from bad to worse. But there was a dramatic ending. That's what the Firestorm card is telling us, and that's exactly what the FBI is not telling us, because they lie. They have lied in Sebastian Rogers' case. I don't know if they're involved in the Summer Wells case, but they've definitely lied about that if they've spoken on it, because there is connections to the police and the Freemasons. If you want to get anywhere in, you know, this life, it seems, confirmation, the higher up you go, you know, you're not going to be, oh, my stomach, you're not going to be a sheriff unless you're a part of the Freemasons. So Ronnie Lawson, why do you think they gave him Sheriff of the Year? Because he is the ultimate protector of the PDF files, and yeah, that's what he should get a medal for. But let's be real, Sheriff of the Year? I feel like people should have just thrown tomatoes at him there and then and said, where is Summer? Where is Summer? He protects his own predator son, and he protects all the predators in Tennessee, it seems. So look, there could be connections with Ronnie Lawson and the police that are, you know, overseeing Sebastian's case. So the connections are there, but they could be very faint, and it's about really going over everything and everyone with a fine tooth comb, and we have to discover ourselves, because the FBI aren't gonna let us be privy to or pervy to, as Chris Proudfoot likes to say, to their information, because they'll say they're covering it or not speaking about it because the case and keeping the dignity, etc. But it's about keeping their own dignity. They are complicit. There's some good ones, of course. In all jobs, there's the good and the bad. But it seems like the bad, the devils, have taken over. As William Shakespeare said, hell is empty. The devils are here. And I definitely agree with that one. Okay, so I just pray that somehow those poor babies didn't suffer. Yeah. I wish I could say that they didn't, I Scorpio, but the fact that they had to go through all this stuff, I feel like with Travis Decker's daughters, he could have drugged them first, because I really don't feel like he was naturally a monster. So I really do hope he sedated them first. I kind of feel like he did. It doesn't make it any better. What he did still, you know, take their air, asphyxiate them. But it's like he couldn't do it with his own hands. He had to use paper bags. He had to make it as easy as possible. But it's like, I think he was schizophrenic or something. I really do. And it was like a schizophrenic rampage he was going on. He was like a firestorm. And, you know, it really isn't always them, because when they're good, they can be really, really good. But when they're bad, they're possessed. So I feel like Travis Decker was possessed, as strange and weird as that seems. And yeah, they wanted to cover up how it ended, because yeah, they made him go ghost. But I do think he was on the run. He was hiding. But maybe he had to get in touch with people for his fix, because he was an addict, you know? And he didn't put his kids first, and eventually karma was going to catch up with him. So do you know of Mika Miller and her case? She was an adult. Her husband was a pastor. I do not believe she took her own life. She was trying to divorce him because of abuse. Yes, Jasmine, hopefully they were sedated. I believe that's what happened to Sebastian as well. I do hope that they sedated Sebastian. I think KE did, you know, sedate him routinely, but it's like she gave him extra, thinking he'd be more docile, but he resisted and he fought back, and he's like, I'm not going, you can't make me, what you gonna do? And, you know, she had to restrain him, she hurt him. I do hope that the pain was dulled, because they brought him somewhere and they hunted him down like an animal. They took his clothes. This was a humiliation ritual. Not only did they not take his shoes, they took his clothes. They forgot about the shoes, and that's one of the sloppy things they forgot. I feel like when those glasses were found, they could have been Sebastian's. And if the police said it weren't, well, are we sure that we trust the police? They were a bit sloppy. They forgot his shoes. They could have dropped his glasses, and they had to cover themselves for their own sloppiness. Okay, so we are going to ask about Mika Miller and her husband. Yeah, I know the man you're talking about. Her pastor husband. Didn't he get remarried? Sick fuck. And I do remember seeing, I think it was a Stephanie Harlow video I was watching on it. And there was a really pathetic video of him on drugs or something, and he was like a baby lying in the grass crying. So I feel like that's how he would fare out in prison, and he would be targeted by the bigwigs, because they would see him as fresh meat, a weak pretty boy who thought he could use God to cover his ass. And yeah, he's anything but godly is what I get from that. So we'll get the oracles now in a minute. Let me just ask the tarot about Mika Miller. So did Mika Miller commit suicide? Well, that's what we'll ask. We'll be a bit blunt with it, because I remember when that story, that case was trending before they found Mika, or did they find her straight away? It's like she rang or something, and it seemed like it was her own doing, but it's like he pushed her into something. He was awful and controlling and abusive. The hanged man, a sacrifice. So this could be self-sacrifice, but if we look at it from a different perspective, this could be him sacrificing Mika because he didn't want her to escape. So the only way was to, you know, have her arms tied in a sense. We've got the Ten of Swords in reverse, recovery. So this could be her being recovered. She hurt herself. I don't know if she shot herself or what it was. But someone profited from her death. Justice in reverse. This was not fair. A sacrifice that was not fair, that someone profited from. So either he pushed her into suicide by being so cruel and horrible, or he could have been there, like with a gun basically to her head. Six of Swords in reverse. Stuck, stalemate, unwanted proposal, unaccepted offers, lack of empathy. Wow. We also have the Nine of Cups. So this is happiness and the wish fulfillment. So he didn't want her in the picture. He wanted her gone. He benefited and profited now that she's not here. So he definitely had a hand in her death, even if it wasn't by his hand. But if he was there, it's like he forced her to ring them and say, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to do this. And he said, you know, if you, I don't know, it's like maybe he tried to trick her with an offer of some sort. False accusations. Yeah, dishonesty. So I do feel like he had a hand in her death, and it wasn't, you know, totally an accident. And in his case, he would say, oh, you know, I'm so sad she did this, but, you know, I have my side hoe over here, and I didn't want her to speak on what a bad man I was, how abusive, or, you know, he was a liar, a cheat, a thief, because he needed to hurt others in order to gain and profit, because he's a demon hiding under God's cloak as a pastor. So ladies, please never marry one of those pastor types, because yeah, they really should have to take a vow of celibacy. Like the priests here, the Catholic priests, they can't take a wife. And people like J.P. Miller, was that his name? He should not be allowed to take a wife, because not only will he take a wife, he will take a wife's life if it impedes on his life. So if he's not profiting, he doesn't want it. Yeah. Backstab. Yeah, so something behind her back. He didn't want to be exposed, his shady ways, his sneaky affairs. He love bombed her. He cheated on her. He lied. And it's like being out in the forest. He could have said, let's go and, you know, have a nice time. Maybe we can talk about this. Let's go on a nice forest walk. And the tables turned and Mika was put in a trap, an unfair situation. I'm hearing, we're caught in a trap. So yeah, suspicious minds. He knew she was suspicious, but it was too late. He'd already been caught. And yeah, he'd already planned his next move. So he wanted to get this done as quickly as possible. Goodbye. Whoa. We also have happily single. So he didn't want her in his life. He wanted to sacrifice his wife, per se, because he wanted to be free to do his own thing. I think he got married again, but leopards never change their spot. So he is going to be cheating, deceiving, lying, doing all those things. Let's just hope that this wife doesn't die under mysterious circumstances too. But maybe it's too late to bring charges to him, because he made sure that this whole backdrop was, you know, hard to argue with. But she killed herself. It was just her there. It was only her on the phone. If I was there, she would have said something, or, you know, he had such control over her that he had her like a puppet, and he basically made her orchestrate her own death, even if it wasn't by his own hand. We've cope. So he could be heavy on the drink and the drugs, but yeah, secluded. He wanted rid of her. Bad news. And it's like he acted surprised when he heard the news, but how could he be when he is the reason behind her demise? Either he made her and broke her so much that she felt like she'd no other option. But it's like he led her straight into the trap. Yeah, because he wants everything to be his way. Wow. So my battery is very low. I hope it doesn't turn off. I'll do one more question. Let's see. Yes, Jasmine. Oh yes, Scorpio. I read that. Love that. I think Travis had to have sedated them. Otherwise, I think they would have woke each other. So yeah, it's like he wanted to do it as painlessly as possible in a sense. So he could have drugged them, sedated them, put the bags over their head, and it's like left them all together or something in the back seat that like, they're dying together. He couldn't face what he was doing. He was a coward. So the fact that he was doing it in the first place is surprising to me, because, you know, what makes a father kill his 3 beautiful daughters? It's not natural. It's not normal. It was like an entity, a demon possession. So he was either on extremely heavy drugs that totally made him lose his sense of self and lose the rag so quickly. But it also seems like he did want to have revenge on his ex. If I can't have them, no one can. But maybe someone's seen something and seen him going on the run or whatever. I was like, oh, where's Travis's daughter? Is someone at the campsite or wherever he was staying? And maybe they found him suspicious and they tracked him and followed him. But yeah, I just feel like the FBI isn't being totally clear with us about that case at all. So yeah, let's see. As always, thank you, Jasmine, for all your hard work on these cases. And thank you so much, Margaret, for sticking with me. I know I've been a little bit out of touch, even with the Kenley case. And I do have to check the chat, the Kenley chat, and see if you guys have gotten anything recently. Have you seen Zach Jackson, the Tranquil Psychic? Hello, Zach, if you're watching, either now or on repeat. But he did 2 sessions on Kenley and they were absolutely brilliant. And he did say that the killer returns to, you know, the crime scene per se, to harvest energy or something about his essence, his bones. And I picked up on that very early on. That's like someone does witchcraft, or necromancy is the word I'm picking up. So if someone even knows where his skull is or something, like hidden in a cave, it's like maybe his skull was separated and put somewhere or hidden, and the rest of him was buried in a bag, and someone goes to harvest the energy, maybe not very frequently, but they still go back. And yeah, I feel like he picked up on a lot of interesting things. When I asked him to look at the case, it was very interesting. The first thing he said to me was, when they find Kenley, they're not going to call the police straight away. And he was like, why is that? What's up with that? And I said, oh no, don't worry. It's because the police are corrupt. It's fine. The searchers know what they're doing. They have their plan. They're going to contact Kenley's family first. And I totally approve of that plan. They don't want the RCMP, you know, messing or covering things up more than they already have. But that's how I knew, like, yeah, Kenley's energy connected with him straight away. And I'm so glad that he did see them finding Kenley. And they will find Kenley. It's just a matter of time. And same with the Jack and Lily case, there's similarities there, because it's like someone wants to do witchcraft in order to keep these bodies hidden. Yeah. Like, you'd be surprised who does witchcraft. It could be your neighbor, your friend. Like, people aren't very open about it because a lot of people think they'll be ridiculed, or witchcraft is silly. But I mean, a lot of criminals do witchcraft. The elite do witchcraft. The world is run off symbols, signs, witchcraft. Halloween, Christmas, it's all witchcraft. And I'm not saying it's all bad, but these criminals, of course, are using it for bad purposes. So it's like we have to use the occult against them if they're using the occult to harvest innocent souls or to keep the truth hidden. We have to use the occult, dive into the cards, the spirits, in order to find out where they are, because it literally is spiritual warfare. Dark versus evil, black magic versus white magic. And I know all you guys are on the right side of justice, and I know these things can be scary. I know a lot of people could get scared of the spirit boxes. I was terrified of the spirit boxes at first, and I was worried. I was like, oh, what if I get something attached to me? Or then I realized, yeah, well, they will if you're afraid. So don't do it until you're ready and you're brave and you realize that a spirit box and spirits can't hurt you. So it took me overcoming my own fear of, you know, the lies we've been told. It's like, why should we not try to contact these spirits of the deceased to help find them? Like, obviously they're going to want their own bodies to be found. So instead of speaking for them, it's nice to try get through to them and let them speak through us. We don't want to put words in their mouth, but, you know, if we're open to the energy and not afraid of it, magical and mysterious things can happen, and God does work in mysterious ways. I haven't watched his videos yet, but yes, I do remember you picking up on that before, and we've gotten his body being in different places. Yeah, because we were wondering, you know, is there scattered body parts? It's like someone was scatter-minded, and I feel like Tom and Kristen maybe know, or they were sent. I feel like they were being used as gillies. Gilly is the word that's coming to my mind, and I don't even know exactly what I mean, but it's like Jason had pull in that town, and I don't know if he was pulling Kristen or whatever. I don't know what was going on there, but some friends, did they all just see Kenley as fresh meat to trick? Like, I don't know if they were all in on some sort of plan, or if it was just Jason feeling like his ego was being threatened. And I did ask Zach, I was like, did you pick up on anything kind of romantic between the two? And he said, not really. You know, he picked up on jealousy and stuff like that. But I always get some sort of romantic undertone, and I can't shake it. So it's not very strong. It's like one of the two had feelings for each other. And if that wasn't reciprocated either by Jason or by Kenley, one of them could have rejected the other, and things got messy. So someone's ego was hurting, and they needed to hurt Kenley in order to satiate their own ego, in a sense. I've always got this feeling that Aaron is very scatterbrained in a way. Yeah, but we have to remember Aaron is a Scorpio, and it's like I've seen screenshots from Twitter that Aaron actually mocked Kenley and, you know, his resting place and stuff. It's like she wants people to know that she knows, but oh, you can't prove it. If you can't prove it, I didn't do it. And that's really annoying, because it is a sense of Dupra's delight, and she knows that she doesn't have to answer to this crime. And she knew that even back then when she was Jason. She knew she'd never have to take accountability, but she won't give Kenley's family that closure of just his resting place. She does not need to come out and say it herself. She could be anonymous. She could get someone else to do it for her. Maybe she won't want to admit to anyone, but she's basically admitted it to the world online on Twitter. But yet on the documentary, no, I never met him. I never seen his photo. Oh, but he looked a lot like me. And he did. They were both very handsome young men. And there was some sort of similarity, or it's like a kindred spirit, but some sort of karmic tie between them. And it's like Aaron tried to escape the past, but somehow Jason and even Kenley is tethered still to Aaron. So it's very weird. She tried to kill the past, kill Jason. Apparently Aaron came down and killed Jason. Why? You know, so something about atonement for the sins. Maybe he thought, well, I'm not a murderer because I'm Aaron, but while being Jason, he couldn't say that. So I don't know, it's a very weird energy, but it's very interesting, and I will definitely do a deeper dive into Jason and how he felt about Kenley. And, you know, instead of getting it from Kenley's perspective, sometimes we need to take it from the killer's perspective, or the alleged suspect's or murderer's perspective, in order to really get it from the horse's mouth. What is their motive? Because sometimes the victim doesn't know why. They just got victimized and they're still asking why on the other side. And the least we can do is try dig into it for them. So yeah, guys, my battery is about to go, and I've been live for over 2 hours, 170 minutes. I'm going to give away how terrible I am at maths, but nearly 3 hours. I hope I've answered a few questions. It flew through so quickly that I feel like I've only answered 3 or 4 questions, but I will try listen back, and if we got any good readings from this, I can post them as separate videos just to bring more awareness to the names of these cases. And of course, we will do a deeper dive into everyone and everything, because once we start digging, it's hard to stop, and eventually we are going to reach the truth. We are like dogs with bones, and we will keep on doing that until the truth is unearthed and the bones are found, literally. So all these predators, you can quake in your boots. You can try scare tactics, you can try bullying, but it ain't gonna work on us, because these victims will never lose their voice as long as we keep on saying their names and bringing awareness and attention to their case. And any way that you can, whether that be sharing, creating your own content, interacting with content, all of it helps, and it all helps raise the energy and the awareness. And the more energy, the better, because magic is basically energy. So let's give the good intentions to the good souls, and it's taking the power back from those nasty, evil souls, and eventually exposing the truth. But sometimes these predators can't help but expose themselves, literally. So I will see you all very soon, and I'm looking forward to exposing more true crime deep dives with all of you guys again soon. Thank you so much for being here, Margaret. I hope you have a great night too, and I will definitely be in touch with you, and we will get the Kenley group going again. We'll get that energy up and the vibes high. And I will see all of you very soon in the next one. Until then, goodbye, God bless, and thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to continue this journey together with all of you, because these are all such good, valued friends to me, and I really love seeing everyone interacting. So even though true crime is very sad, it does bring a lot of like-minded good souls together in pursuit of the truth, and seek and ye shall find. And I will leave it at that. It's 2323, and if you feel like looking up that angel number, maybe that has a message for you. So goodbye, God bless, and thank you all so much for being here. Mwah. Bye.